acara akan segera kita mulai. The international seminar as the second day agenda of the 4th International Conference, Indonesian Academic Libraries will be going to start in a few moments. Therefore, we ask for all participants to turn off your audio. Please place yourself. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to appreciate our deepest gratitude to all of you to come and join the second day of the 4th International Conference Indonesian Academic Libraries. We will have an international seminar, AI-driven academic libraries innovation, ethics, and the future of knowledge management. Please allow me, Novi Diana Fauzi, to be the master of ceremony for this international seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a warm welcome to our speaker, Ibu Widyasari Listiawulan, Master of Arts, the Director of Government Affairs, Microsoft Indonesia. Associate Professor Christopher Koo So Guan from Nanyang Technological University, Singapore, Dr. Ari Nugraha from Universitas Indonesia, and Associate Professor Dr. Amorn Patsom, Director Office of Academic Resources, Chulalongkorn University. And we are very grateful to have such knowledgeable experts with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, this conference was held in collaboration between FPPTI and Taruma Negara University, and the sponsor like Elsevier, McGraw-Hill, Bloomsbury, Springer, Turn18, iGroup, Sage Emerald, Publishing, Scope Prospera Buana, Biblioteca by Sagung Seto, and Livro RFID Library. I also would like to inform you that this event is being broadcasted live in Zoom from Taruma Negara University, Jakarta. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, this international seminar will have two sessions. The first session will talk about innovation in AI based for education and generative AI with Ibu Widyasari Listiawulan, Master of Arts. And knowledge grab as complementary technology for library information science with Associate Professor Christopher Koo So Guan. Now we will proceed the panel discussion where our distinguished speaker will share their thoughts and findings. And for this first session, I have Ibu Safiratul Khair, PhD, as the moderator. Let's give a big applause for her. Safira Khair PhD is currently working at Universitas Gadjah Mada Indonesia, serving to position as a coordinator of public relations and international affairs at Library and Archives, and has been teaching staff at the Graduate School of Library and Information Management since 2009. With the support of Australia Award Scholarship, she obtained her doctoral degree from University of South Australia and her master's degree from Curtin University of Technology, Australia. Safira obtained her prestigious research grant from Australia-Indonesia Center in 2020 to explore COVID data in Indonesia. And let us start the first session in this seminar. Safira, time and stage are yours.
Thank you so much, Ibu Novi. Good morning, selamat pagi. How are you today? Okay, well that's good. So I'm sure you had a good breakfast today. Yes, okay. Good morning, distinguished guests and participants from the libraries from around Indonesia, from all the School of Libraries and Information Science throughout Indonesia. Thank you so much for being here with us. So I'm sure you are doing well today. So it's a great honor for me to welcome you at the first session of the international seminar in our conference, the 4th Indonesian Academic Library by KPPTI. So our main theme today is AI-driven academic libraries, innovation, ethics, and the future of knowledge management. And this morning, we are so delighted to have to present two distinguished speakers today who will share their perspective on two themes, AI, innovation and education, and also generative AI and knowledge graphs. Okay, please allow me to briefly outline the flow of this session. So each of the two speakers will deliver the presentation for around 45 minutes, and then we will have Q&A session, and then we already provide you with the QR code and the short link for the questions later. And also, this is important, please feel free if you want to use Bahasa Indonesia or English, so you can just please scan the QR code later. All right, so we will have two speakers today. Ibu Widya is here with us, but I would like to say hello to Christopher Koo from Nanyang Technological University. Hello, Chris, how are you today?
Very good.
Okay,
yeah, I'm excited.
So okay, it's so...
And congratulations on a very successful, very interesting conference.
Okay, well, that's good. It's so good that you are now ready to share with us, and you have to know that we are also excited to have you later today.
Thank you very much, Dr. Safira.
Okay, so we will have Ibu Widya first to share her perspective, but I am so happy to share her wonderful short bio of Ibu Widya. So, Ibu Widya is currently served as a Director of Government Affairs at Microsoft Indonesia, and she has over 20 years of experience as a leader, as an educator, a corporate affairs personnel, and government affairs executive. Her experience includes policy advocacy, project management, and community engagement. So she held the master's degree from Ohio University. She took Master of International Studies and also Master of Education from the University of Kansas with the support of Fulbright. Now she's currently pursuing her doctoral degree at Universitas Gadjah Mada. So Bapak Ibu, please join me in welcoming Ibu Widya. Okay, you look so wonderful today.
To be very honest, I'm very nervous sitting next to you and, in front of all of the, smartest academia from Indonesia universities. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. Well, it's a great honor for us. So no appointment, but we have the
Same
red-
color,
same color.
exactly.
Okay, so your time for 45 minutes to share with us.
Sure.
And you please welcome to.
Thank you. Thank you.
deliver
If you
that,
don't mind, I'll be standing up
Yes.
because Bapak Ibu sekalian, I live in BSD, so it's about 1.5 hours, 2 hours, depending on the traffic from here. So sitting is quite regular activity, regular sport. So allow me to stand up if you don't mind. But Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi. Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Bapak Ibu, a little bit of disclaimer before I start the presentation. I'm actually Dr. Vera friend since, was it early 2000? So it's a little bit kind of, I don't want to embarrass her, right, in front of all of you. so I'm trying to be serious in here, but I know when you look at us, it looks like we've been friends since early 2020, so it will be like 30 years for me, but if you look at her, it looks like 5 years ago for her. So anyway, it's a pleasure to be here, and Professor Ko, nice to meeting you virtually. I'm looking forward to listening to your lecture today. Bapak Ibu sekalian, I'm from Microsoft Indonesia. I'm currently working as the government affairs. I understand that, directly there's nothing related with education, right? Because I'm coming from the corporate side. However, as you probably know, Microsoft has been here in Indonesia since 30 years ago. We're just celebrating our 30th anniversary this year. And one of our major innovation, to be very precise, is the introduction of, or the innovation of AI. We are one of the companies that basically provide AI service globally. And currently in Indonesia, I will share with you what we are doing other than providing the service for commercial purposes. But allow me to ask the gentleman in the back to change the next slide, please. Thank you. Now, for the past 5 years or more, we keep hearing the buzzword of AI, AI this, AI that, right? Now, I like to ask how many of you is actually using AI in your daily activity? May I know if you don't mind raising your hand? I heard that this room is not a shy group of people, so I'm sure. So one gentleman here, so only one, and two, thank you, Ibu. Now, how many of you is actually using online services, including food delivery, transport, transit, financial services online? May I know how many of you actually use that? Thank you so much. Banking online, I'm sure you use, all the online banking system, right? I'm sure you use ride-hailing in Jakarta or in your province or in your cities. I'm sure you use financial services as well, right? I see some nodding. I'm sure for Ibu-Ibu specifically, I'm sure you use online, e-commerce, right? Now, or if you are not from Jakarta, I'm sure from your hotel you use one of the services coming from my friend company, the map, right? I'm sure you use that. Now imagine all of those is being processed in the back of technology, and AI is actually within that, all of those services. When you try to book ticket, and then you want to reschedule, and then you need to talk to the customer services. And then if you do it after 9 p.m., then you're actually talking to a chatbot, right? And that is actually powered by AI. So I know that not all of you raise your hand because you might think about your daily activity at the university, right? Your professional activity. But AI is actually already around our environment. It becomes our daily things, right? It becomes our personal activity, if you don't mind me saying that. But, so ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu sekalian, AI is not technical term. It's not only a buzzword. It's your personal space. It's that thing that you actually use, whether you like it or not. In my theory, and I know all of you look very young, so I'm sure you are social media active social media users, right? And so the social media that you use, the way they figure, the way they show the news, the viral news that you might check it out, all of them is actually using AI as well, and that personalize the perspective or the preference of topic that you are actually looking at your social media platform. Now, we believe, Bapak Ibu sekalian, that in Microsoft, we believe that we are not building machine. When we talk about AI, when we talk about AI in your profession, in university, at the library, for example, because I know all of you are librarian, and this is another thing, Bapak Ibu, that make me nervous. Ibu Vera say, hey, don't embarrass me. And then I know all of you are librarian, people who actually dive deep into books, right? So that makes me nervous. So Bapak Ibu, back to joking aside, Bapak Ibu. So at Microsoft, we believe that we are not only building a machine, but we actually ensuring that this machine actually help you to thrive. Now, I'd like to show you 2 videos that I bring today, but I just want to shape our perspective that when we are talking about AI, we're not talking about a tools that you just leave on the table, right? We're actually talking about tools that try to help you to thrive, whether in your personal capacity or your professional capacity. And I'm telling you later why in your professional capacity we should think about the use of AI in your daily activity. Next, please, Mas. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, why AI matters in education system? This year, Bapak Ibu sekalian, a few months ago, Microsoft worked with Yayasan BUMN and Setwapres, the Office of Vice President. We the Ministry of ICT and Communication, or ComDG, we initiated a hackathon. I'm sure you all know what hackathon is, right? We initiated hackathon powered by AI. We accept more than 100 proposals coming from all of the university in Indonesia, all over Indonesia, and we select those 100 proposals up to 40, and we select the 3 best proposals. Now this is hackathon, Bapak Ibu sekalian. I'm sure you're familiar that hackathon, the aim of hackathon mostly is to provide prototype, right? So the topic that we share during hackathon is all of the issues around Indonesia and all of the issues around the world that the student can take on. So out of the 50 proposals that we selected in the final stage, 3 of them are the best. One of them coming from Universitas Indonesia, the second one coming from BINUS, Bina Nusantara, and the third one coming from UB, Universitas Brawijaya, or in my generation, we call it Unbrau. May I know how many of you is actually coming from one of those 3 universities that I mentioned? From UB? Ibu datang dari mana? BINUS, oh wonderful. Ibu? Brawijaya, great. So, oh, Atmajaya, so congratulations. Ibu from Brawijaya. BINUS. So, the first winner, Bapak Ibu sekalian, coming from Universitas Indonesia, and this is why I mentioned that AI is personalized, your need, personalized, the inventor need to actually create innovation, and that's the thing that is needed in education. The first winner coming from Universitas Indonesia is these 3 young ladies, very bright, and what they invented by the use of AI is they created an application powered by AI, Microsoft AI, because that's our hackathon. And that application is embedded on cell phone to be used by people with disability, with virtually impaired people. So what happened is they have this, well, how do you call it, a headset, wire-free headset with the phone. And these people with the virtually impaired people can actually dictate where do they want to go. And that system will direct them, for example, here, and then the system will say 5 steps to the front, and be careful, there's a stair in front of you, you go 5, you turn your body to the right, and you move 5 steps forward. So that kind of innovation is founded by university students that is allowed to use AI, that is allowed to see problem in their surrounding, and empowered by AI to create such a great innovation for social problem. The second winner from BINUS, Bapak Ibu sekalian, so what they found is very unique. They invented an application, Bapak Ibu, and I'm happy to share their contact for you to communicate, for the, and I'm sorry, I space out, for the disease that occurred in cow. As a librarian, I'm sure you know better than I do. the disease that occurred in cow, the mouth and ear disease, if you know that, yeah? And then what they do is they embed it again. They create application powered by AI. They embed it in the machine that they created by themselves to be stapled on the cow ear. So it detects the way the cow actually behave from their blood pressure, right? And from their nostril, and they detect whether that cow, the specific cow that they put the machine on the ear, is actually impacted by the disease. So the apps, the AI will analyze that and provide suggestion that this cow should be separated from other, for example, or should take some precautious measurement so that the cow is not consumed by people. That's another great innovation that these students actually found it, powered by AI, and I'm happy to share the contact. The last one, Bapak Ibu sekalian, from UB, Brawijaya. Anyone from Brawijaya? None of you today is coming from Brawijaya. These two smart students, and I had the opportunity to meet the rector and meet them again last month, and they have already deployed this initiative to one of the kitchen of the free lunch program in Malang. So what they found, but this is web test, so it's not application, but they created a kind of solution to actually connect all of the information from the MBK kitchen around Malang, around one area in Malang, and these kitchen need to update when did they get their vegetable or their produce, their milk, their meat, and so on and so forth. And then the system will indicate when will the fruit or produce need to be used, or when will those produce need to be thrown away. Now this is another good example how AI is actually provide what you may call a power to innovate in education context, and it's very personalized. When I asked the young lady from UI, a winner, as the innovator, I asked why you invent this. Is there any personal story? It turned out that one of their relatives has the same problem. So there you see, the innovation can be found when a student is being given freedom and tool to actually thinking what are the issues in their surrounding and what kind of solution they can provide. So that's why we say AI is actually a personalized thing. It turned out that it will help education in create more innovation if we allow them to play around with the AI, with the tool. AI is just a tool, Bapak Ibu sekalian. It's not a magic. You still need to figure out the decision, right? But at least the option is there. So next, Mas, please, thank you. Now, apologize, sorry, can we go back to the previous slide? And you're right, I should use clicker, right? So, the last part, Bapak Ibu sekalian, and I would like, Mas, mohon maaf, mohon izin untuk mempersiapkan video yang pertama, yang dari YouTube. Now, the last part, Ibu, that you could see from, Bapak Ibu, you could see from my screen, it reduces administrative burden. Now I know the love that you have for books, right? This is what I call a labor of love, because you love books, you love your work, because you love reading. That's something that I have to admit that I'm quite lacking. But Bapak Ibu sekalian, AI will never replace your empathy as librarian. AI will never replace the empathy of teacher toward the student. AI will never replace me as a mother of my son. He has the option of looking at things that AI offered, but the decision is coming from him and me as a mother. The decision is coming from you as a librarian and the student. But indeed, AI reduces the administrative hassle. Now, the video that I'm going to show you is taken in Thailand. I understand that this example is actually coming from the government, but let me provide you feedback. So, not feedback, sorry, background, I apologize. So, government of Thailand, a few months ago, or last year, if I'm not mistaken, was trying to prepare the application for OECD. I'm sure you are familiar with OECD. Now, that process requires a very intensive, labor-intensive documentation processes, right? Lots of processes, lots of paperwork, what certification, data this and data that. Now imagine a country let alone one single Ministry of Justice who need to do that with a very limited resource of people. It might take more than 5 years to do so. So what they're doing is working with Microsoft to actually implement AI on their administration process. And the result is, within a period of 6 months, they finished their application for OECD. Mas, please. Thank you.
กฎหมายไทยมีเยอะครับแม่บทลูกบทอะไรเต็มไปหมดเลยทำยังไงถึงจะเอาองค์ความรู้ข้างในนั้นออกมาให้ได้เพื่อเอามาใช้ในงานของเราโดยความร่วมมือของ Microsoft ใช้ AI ช่วยทำให้เราสามารถที่จะอยู่ใน International Arena ได้อย่างมีศักดิ์ศรีมากขึ้นสำนักงานคณะกรรมการกฤษฎีกาที่ทำหน้าที่หลักๆคือการทำร่างกฎหมายให้รัฐบาลในการทำงานร่างกฎหมายเราใช้เอกสารเยอะมากเพราะว่ากฎหมายไทยมีเยอะจากข้อมูลที่เก็บในรูป PDF ซึ่งมันคือภาพถ่ายธรรมดามันค้นไม่ได้เราก็ cleansing data ใหม่เอา tool ต่างๆมาใช้โดยเฉพาะยิ่งเรื่อง Azure แล้วก็ Copilot ทำให้การทำงานมีประสิทธิภาพมากขึ้นแล้วก็คนทำงานมีความสุขมากขึ้นจริงๆแล้วเรามีเป้าหมายที่จะเข้าเป็นสมาชิกของ OECD Microsoft กับเราก็มีความร่วมมือกันในการพัฒนาระบบ AI ขึ้นมาใช้เขาเรียก TH2 OECD เราต้องพัฒนาขึ้นเพราะว่าเราไม่ได้ใช้ภาษาอังกฤษเป็นภาษาราชการทำอย่างไรที่จะทำให้ legal instrument มันเป็นภาษาไทยได้นิติกรตามกระทรวงทบวงกรมต่างๆเข้าใจเขาสามารถตอบเป็นภาษาไทยเสร็จแล้วใช้ AI ทำให้มันเป็นภาษาอังกฤษได้อย่างถูกต้องแม่นยำ
ตราสารของทาง OECD เนี่ยมีมากกว่า 276 ฉบับ ทางทีมงานของเราซึ่งมีกันอยู่ 5 คน การที่เราใช้ AI เข้ามาซัพพอร์ตทำให้เราวางแผนได้ว่าโครงการทั้งหมดเนี่ยมันจะดำเนินการแล้วเสร็จภายในระยะเวลา 6 เดือนได้ค่ะ
Thank you, Mas. Thank you. So as you see, at one
ถ้ามัน
point,
ถูกต้องมัน
I
ใช้
think
ได้
we could. Thank you. Apologize. So as you see, the head of OCD equal to minister saying that when they are processing the application for OECD, they predicted that it requires 7 to 10 years because the document is a lot and it's all in Thai. So they need to translate that, make sure it's matched with the standard of OECD, and then translate back to Thai, and then do back and forth organization model. Now what they do is they adopt Azure AI, one of our platform, and they did it in 6 months. Now imagine the complexity of the administration that I understand you are facing every day. And by the way, the office that they have is only 5 people. Imagine 5 people trying to match 275 standard of OECD. Trying to match all of the law in Thailand, in Thai, to English so that they can match with the standard of OECD. That's a lot of administration work. And with AI, they did it for 6 months. So that's a big budget efficiency and resource efficiency, if I have to say. Next, Mas, thank you. So, Bapak Ibu sekalian, and I quoted this from the senior analyst of OECD. So the urgent need of AI is not just to adopt the AI as a tool, because we keep hearing this AI as a buzzword. Everybody talk about AI, Bu Vera. Like this week alone, I had to speak at 3 events talking about AI. AI this, AI that, AI no, AI yes, AI why, AI. All about AI, AI, AI. But then again, let's not only talk about AI. Let's try to see whether it actually helps you in your daily life. Otherwise, it is just a buzzword. Remember the first time, I still remember back in the 80s, yes, saya udah tua nih. Back in the 80s, the first time I had TV berwarna, everybody talk about it. But until you actually experience it, then you will never know. Same thing, when I was in the US, Bapak Ibu sekalian, that was the first time I experienced Facebook. That was the first time I experienced Facebook. And I'm okay to mention other brand. But before going there, I wouldn't know what it is. I don't know why we need to have social media. But then after I use it, I know how it works. Same thing with smartphone. Remember the day when we need to dial in and put coin, and then all of a sudden we change into a wireless phone, and then all of a sudden we can do video call. All of that is a kind of technology revolution. Same like AI. I understand there must be questions about ethics and, deepfake and so on and so forth, and we can talk about this later, 5 minutes before my talk ends. But what I would like to highlight, AI is a tool, and the use of that, it's really up to the user, up to us. But it will never replace the empathy and the the level of wisdom that the teacher has or that the librarian has. Now, another interesting or beautiful statement that I'd like you to focus is coming from Stefan Vincent, is it's time to integrate that AI instead of talking about it. It's time to see whether it actually works for your convenience rather than to talk about it as a buzzword and as a trend. Mas, please, next, thank you. Bapak Ibu sekalian, here's another data that I would like to share and why Microsoft is very focusing on encouraging and promoting the use of AI. Based on the WEF, the World Economic Forum research, by 2030, there will be 59% of the global workforce that will need new digital skill. And I highlight new digital skill. It's not only converting traditional book to digital, for example, or I used to work for one of the biggest OTA's online travel platform. It's not to change a product into a digital. It requires only 5 minutes, Bapak Ibu sekalian, and I can confirm that because I work in commerce as well. It's quick, it's only 5 minutes, but to change the mentality, to understand the impact of the digital and to have the skill to catch up with that is another different angle. Now, what I would like to highlight, coming from the WEF research, is 59% in 2030, which is only like less than 5 years from now, requires a new digital skill. And AI is a new digital skill. So we are racing with those who want to use AI for a negative thing like fraudulent cases, or those who use AI for the positive thing. So we are racing with that because by 2030, all the work demands the new digital skill, and AI is one of them. Now, another research by UNICEF saying that 75% youth globally don't have the skill they need for the AI economy. What does it mean? It means that they know, they use it as customer, but they don't adopt it. It means that they use it to check on maps, for example. They use it to check on, okay, how many people actually likes my post? Or, okay, how many people actually buy my product? They use it, but they don't actually have the skill to play around with that, unlike those the 6 students from those 3 universities that I mentioned. And we need more students like them, and you are actually one of the pillars that will encourage them in using AI in education and life. Now, Bapak Ibu sekalian, this is the reason why we actually launched our program named Elevate globally. That is a skill training on AI, serve teachers, association like all of you, forum, students, government officials to use AI or to try to use AI on daily life. I have some slides talking about that. And we actually target that by 2030, we can actually prove through the research that the number has been reduced, hopefully into 0, right? I hope so. It's 5.5 years from now, so we are racing with that. Next, Mas, mohon izin. Thank you. Now, Bapak Ibu sekalian, before I play another video that quite related to your expertise, I'd like to bring your focus into this statement coming from our president, Bapak Brad Smith. Bapak Ibu sekalian, when we create AI, this machine, this innovation, we actually try to make sure that it won't outsmart humanity. And it won't if we actually use it in the right fashion. And how do we use it in the right fashion? Without prejudice and play around with it. Do not just use it in your daily need, like, doing ride-hailing, e-commerce, financial services, but using actually in your library to understand, okay, how many books actually used by kids, how many science books is read by students in science year second, for example. That kind of system can be created by AI Microsoft. Now, that's our commitment, not to create a system or tools that outsmart human without humanity, but actually to work together with you and create more impact, but still looking at the humanity side. Now, the video that I'd like to share with you is a story from Europe, Bapak Ibu sekalian. There is a church named La Basilica. It's one of the oldest church in the world. And what happened is, before we work with them, the visitor of that church, thousands of them, come and go on a very, yearly basis. But remember, just like Borobudur, I'm talking about years of church. And with the climate change issue, by the way, I believe in climate change. Although I still use plastic bottle, I'm sorry. With the climate change issues, such old building, historical building, will not stay forever for our next generation. Borobudur, for example, may I know how many of you went to Borobudur for the past 5 years? How many of you actually saw Borobudur for the past 5 years? Not a lot, right? I just came back from Borobudur a few years ago, and what I heard from them is actually, it's a little bit sinking, right? That's one. Second, there's a distortion of color. Now imagine, Bapak Ibu, our great-great-grandchildren, we hope that they will see, like historical site like Borobudur, but we never know, right? Now what AI can offer is to restore that beauty, restore the history, restore the story, and create the replica of it, so that our great-great-great-grandchildren can have the same sentiment like us, can understand how they see the site is the same like the way we see the site. So they can understand the history, and most importantly, they can value as much as we value the site. Now, this video will show you the possibility of doing or merging AI into a very old, 1,000 years old site like Borobudur. Mas, mohon izin.
The first time I visited the Vatican, I'll never forget the wonder of walking into St. Peter's Basilica. We've been partners with the Vatican for several years, creating a digital twin of St. Peter's Basilica. When we started this culture preservation work, we didn't have the tools we have today. With AI and our AI for Good Lab and the Azure Innovation team, we can innovate at the speed of our imagination. This project is such a beautiful manifestation of our mission. Everyone at Microsoft was eager to bring it to life. What's so incredible about technology is that it can transport you to places and times that you otherwise couldn't go to. There's so much skepticism about AI right now. To use that same technology to preserve something as ancient as the St. Peter's Basilica, to preserve culture, tradition, and a faith that's endured for thousands of years is really special.
Terima kasih, Mas. So what I would like to highlight again, Bapak Ibu sekalian, you are the expert of history, science, human knowledge, and so on and so forth. But we're not living forever. Sites like Borobudur, Prambanan, even Kraton, or maybe other part of Indonesia, we hope that those sites will stay the same for another 100 years, but we don't know. And that's why Microsoft invested the collaboration with Vatican, because we know perhaps our great-great-grandchildren will not have the opportunity to see the beauty of that site. So what we did is actually merging the digital twin. So for those who understand architecture, I just find out that digital twin is one of the dream system of those who study architecture, because it can replicate, it can create the 3D of a site specifically with a very detailed information, because it's powered by AI and cloud. So you can store all the data. There are thousands of data, millions of data. Just like Saint Basilica now, they have the the 3D version of Saint Basilica that's powered by Microsoft AI. So all of the researchers around the world can have access to it without actually spending, for example, spending lots of money to go there. And it remains, hopefully it remains there for another 100 years, but the knowledge will still there. So that's another example that I'd like to share. Mas, mohon izin, next. Thank you. Now, we talk about the benefit of using AI and the impact of using AI, but we do admit that there are some challenges as well. And one of the challenges is on ethical consideration. And Bapak Ibu sekalian, for those who are following regulation, just like what I do, currently the Ministry of Information and Communication and Digital is drafting 2 presidential decree on AI. One is the roadmap and one is ethical guideline. So we do appreciate the effort done by the government of Indonesia, but we do hope it won't block the innovation. It won't create, fear before people is actually using it. So we do hope that the regulation is risk-based regulation, not a fear-based regulation. Those are 2 different things, right? Now, Bapak Ibu sekalian, we would like to always remind you the importance of data protection. And we would like to encourage you to understand that your data is your right. That's one of the things that we always put as our, principle. In fact, Bapak Ibu sekalian, because of that, Microsoft invested 1.7 billion US dollar in Indonesia. And one of them is to build one of the biggest data center in Indonesia. Thank you, Ibu. Now, what does it mean, Bapak Ibu sekalian? Because we have the data center here, and because Indonesia has personal data privacy regulation, so your data is not moving anywhere unless you want to. Because this is your right to choose whether you like your data to be in Indonesia forever or you want your data to be somewhere. But my question before I start before I go next to my discussion, if you imagine, and this goes to you as well, Bu Vera, you remember there's a hacking issue last year, right? Right? Ada yang tahu ya, ada issue hacker last year, 2024, which is so big. That's one, because somewhere, in the middle of nowhere, our data that is stored in data center on-prem, not on cloud, was leaked. But in my generation, I still remember that my KTP all of a sudden was found by my friend, dijadikan bungkus kacang rebus, for example, right? So that's how data back then was not a privilege, but now data is privilege. And that's why Microsoft built a region data center in here in Indonesia, because we respect the fact that Indonesian government does not allow some critical data to be stored outside Indonesia, and we respect that. But what I would like to highlight is you need to know your data, which data that you want to store on cloud, or which data that you don't want to share with everyone. And that requires education. And as librarian and as corporate sector, we need to work together to promote that. But that's a different topic, Bapak Ibu. Now, second point that I'd like to highlight to make sure that Microsoft is actually comply with Indonesian regulation, other than building an infrastructure, is we actually work with the government as a task force for AI roadmap. Although we're not, active, but we provide input to them, and we would like you to provide input to us too on your experience in using AI at the library. Next, Mas, mohon izin. Okay, 2 minutes, yes. Okay, Bapak Ibu sekalian, I'm going to be quick. Now, I talk about the impact, the product, and the problem. Now, last year, Bapak Ibu, we launched a program called Elevate. Silahkan Mas, kalau boleh next saja. We launched a program called Elevate, and the goal of that program is to train everybody on how to use AI for free, Bapak Ibu sekalian, for free. So, last year, which is 2024, up to June 2025, we trained 1.2 million users, students, startup ecosystem, everyone. But this year, Bapak Ibu, we focus on teacher and association and forum. And this is for free. So please reach me out through Ibu Vera or through the association if you like to learn AI and how to use it in your daily activity. And the reason why, Bapak Ibu sekalian, because going back to World Economic Forum report that by 2030, there's a 59% gap of digital skill in workforce development. So if we don't start teaching the teacher and the association and librarian like yours, then the student will not match the game. Our student will not be able to work in the global market. Now, Bapak Ibu sekalian, after a year of training, this is the impact report that we gathered. So, by investing 1.7 billion to Indonesia infrastructure, Bapak Ibu, we actually added value by $29.4 billion by 2030. This is in economic prediction. For example, the student that we train projected to create innovation that is projected to be adopted by corporates like Microsoft and our other technology company. Next, Mas, mohon izin. Okay, Bapak Ibu. So what is the future trend? We believe that the future trend of the use of AI in university academic research is the personalized training, learning. As you know, I'm actually doing my doctoral degree, and my professors say, look, I know that you guys will check on AI, but please remember, your integrity comes first. So you can use AI to do research, but it's your brain that should make a decision. But still, AI support your personal option to do that. Second is the global education access and innovative pedagogy. Mas, mohon izin, next. Bapak Ibu, before I close my talk today, I'd like to bring your final attention to the quote provided by our president, Brad Smith. And he said, the work ahead is not building the next generation of AI, but building the next generation of opportunity. Because AI wouldn't and shouldn't and couldn't strip the humanity. AI wouldn't and couldn't strip the humanity. We couldn't strip and drop the empathy and your wisdom, but we actually elevate that because we help your work. And thank you, Ibu Fer.
Ooh, thank you so much. Big applause to you, Widya. Wonderful presentation. Okay, at least we are, from all libraries here, we can have like wider perspective. Yes, AI is a tool, not a magic, Ibu Widya said to us. So yes, it's really important for us, for education and for libraries, because yeah, that helps us to say, find right information faster and also make learning process become more personal and even more engaging. That's very important and nice experience and example from Thailand and Vatican. Yes, I agree with that. And AI will be the life saver for academic administrative works. I mean, yes, we know that. And especially how to conserve the ancient buildings, like the examples with the technology. So this is very important. Thank you so much for sharing this one. But you know, the AI will never replace empathy, never replace librarians. Don't worry about this one. But with the fact that some professional may be shifted, but what we know is we have to be more creative in using AI to assist us. Okay, so thank you so much. We will just move to the next speaker, but I would like to remind you that we have the QR code here for you to ask questions. You just please just scan the QR code, or yes, you can just write in Indonesian or in English. Please feel free to do that. Okay, Bapak Ibu, we will just move to the next speaker, the second speaker today. So we already have Associate Professor Christopher Koo Soo Guan from the Wee Kim Wee School of Communication and Information, Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. I'm happy to call him Chris. Hi, Chris. So his presentation will be about generative AI and knowledge graph as complementary technologies for LIS, Library and Information Science. Hi, Chris.
Hello, Dr.
Hi,
Safira.
okay,
Yeah.
so yes, Bapak Ibu, before we start, I'm so happy to share the wonderful short bio for Chris. So, Associate Professor Koo Soo Guan is Associate Professor at the Wee Kim Wee School of Communication and Information, Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. So he teaches courses in knowledge organization and also data analytics, focusing on data mining and social media analytics. So he obtained his PhD at Syracuse University and master's degree in LIS at University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, and BA at Harvard University. So Chris also worked for several years as a science reference librarian at the National University of Singapore Libraries. Bapak Ibu, please join me in welcoming Associate Professor Christopher Koo. Chris, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Dr. Safira. Yeah, thank you for inviting me to share my views on AI and library and information science. I also apologize for not being able to present in person. I wish I could be there in Jakarta because I was an academic librarian and I always love, and my best friends are academic librarians. So, since I'm not able to visit you, I hope that you will come and visit me. So later I will tell you about the workshop that I will be organizing middle of next year so that you can come and visit me. Or if you are passing through Singapore, please let me know so that I can take you to tea or dinner when you are here in Singapore. Okay, so my talk is on generative AI and knowledge graph as complementary technologies for LIS. We can all agree, I think, that LIS and libraries and academic librarians, we are all at the crossroads. That means we have to decide on our future directions to take in our library service and in our library research. Some 8 years ago, I started proposing this new vision and mission for libraries and librarians. And Dr. Safira will remember that 8 years ago, I presented this in Taiwan. And what I was trying to say is that libraries and librarians are not enough. It's not enough just to provide access to information. We used to think that one of the goals of libraries is to provide access to information for everybody, the rich and poor. But now Google and ChatGPT and generative AI seems to have taken over this role of providing access to information. We used to say that the job of librarians is to satisfy information needs of our users. But I think that has become less important now. They have too much information, and ChatGPT seems to be doing a good job, and Copilot as well. So I think that for the future, librarians, and especially academic librarians, should help users to link data, ideas, people, and tools, and to relate things together. We should help users to integrate information and synthesize stories. We should help users to learn. We should help our students and faculty to create new knowledge and to use information for decision making. I would also say that this is the beginning of the golden age of IT. I've not heard anybody say this before, but when the pandemic started and we all had to go online, and IT became so important, it occurred to me that, that IT has become so important, that this is the golden age of IT. And it is now possible to develop new applications and services quickly, even with a small team of librarians. Ibu Vidya pointed out that in Thailand, 5 people was able to convert and match legal documents for OECD application. And I think a small, 5 librarians, maybe even 3 librarians, I think can quickly develop AI applications, new AI applications for our users. And yes, Ibu Vidya has also pointed out that to develop AI applications requires a lot of human knowledge, in human sense. We need a lot of common sense. We need human deep thinking, creativity, courage, as well as supportive and wise leadership. And I think librarian skills, especially academic librarian skills, is important for developing good AI applications. I was an academic librarian in the previous century. Before I became a lecturer at NTU, I was a librarian at the National University of Singapore Libraries, we call it NUS. And then later I went to do my PhD and became a lecturer at NTU. So I used to do this. I used to do cataloging and reference. And I think these are the 2 pillars of library and information service, cataloging, or more generally, knowledge organization. And then the other one is reference service. That means we do reference interview to determine information needs of our users. And then we do searching, and I was an expert in online database searching. And so in those days, there was like very high IT skill. But I think now in the age of AI, we need to reframe, we need to innovate, we need to look for new directions for these 2 services, knowledge organization and reference service. So I'd like to suggest that for knowledge organization, in the past we used to organize documents, and especially books, and we create cataloging records, we create metadata for our books. But now I think we need to move on to knowledge graph, and that's my first half of my talk, which is on knowledge graph and graph visualization. What is different here is that for knowledge graph, we are focusing not on the books, but on the content inside the books. We are looking at the information content and the knowledge content, and then to represent it as a knowledge graph. And we want to do that in order to support intelligent applications and also to help users in exploring the knowledge, in browsing, learning, and doing research. So knowledge graph, I think, is a key tool to help users to link and connect data, ideas, people, and tools. So to recap, so knowledge graph and graph visualization, I will show you an example of graph visualization as a new direction in knowledge organization, focusing on structuring the information content of documents rather than organizing the documents themselves. But knowledge graph is just half of the solution because it is manual work, and it's tedious, it's laborious, it's a lot of intellectual, effort. So in my school, I teach knowledge graph and ontology, which is another word for knowledge graph. And the students always get a headache, and they always fail my course or my test. So we need something to help, and that something would be AI, and especially generative AI and LLM. So that would be the second half of my talk. So I use a generative AI to create knowledge graphs, to extract entities and relations from text, to build a knowledge graph, and also to summarize and to do analysis. So we need reference and online searching skills to work with generative AI. So with generative AI, you know that you have to construct prompts and context, to tell the AI what to do. So that requires, I think, reference librarian skills, that academic reference librarians have. We also need these to create prompts and examples and training sets to do information extraction, to extract the knowledge from the books, and represent it in a different way. And we need reference skills also to develop good AI applications to support user browsing, learning, and analysis. Okay, so I'm going to start talking about knowledge graph, and these ideas I've already presented in your recent Digital Libraries Conference a few weeks ago, so I presented on knowledge graphs. But the second half will be new, which will be on how we use AI to complement knowledge graph. Okay, what is knowledge graph? I like to define knowledge graph informally like this as a social network of ideas, concepts, and digital objects. And where the nodes in the knowledge graph represents concepts and entities, and the links represent relations, but we also use classification systems, taxonomies, and class hierarchies. Now, knowledge graph actually maybe is more well known to you as an ontology. So these two terms are used interchangeably in the literature. But last year, I published a paper to suggest that we need to treat knowledge graph differently. And for me, knowledge graph is different from ontology because knowledge graph focuses more on the users, whereas ontology focuses more on logical thinking, on AI, whereas knowledge graph focuses more on helping users. So I propose these differences between ontology and knowledge graph, and I'd like to propose this to you. Ontology supports AI, whereas I think of knowledge graph as more focusing on users, helping users to browse, to do mind mapping, to integrate information. Ontology focuses on logical reasoning, and my students always get a headache when I teach them ontology, whereas knowledge graph focuses more on the network, and the visualization. So the graphical network. By the way, when I say graph, I don't mean charts, I don't mean pie charts and line graphs. I mean the network structure. Ontology focuses on inferencing based on class hierarchies and so on, whereas knowledge graph focuses on inferencing based on the graph matching, the patterns in the relations. Ontology, we make use of RDF and OWL, which I'm sure you struggle with. Whereas in knowledge graph, there's no industry specification, but we use more easy, computer-oriented data structures like CSV, your Excel spreadsheets, JSON, so it's much easier than OWL and RDF, easier to apply and use. So that's why now when I teach knowledge organization, the first half I focus on ontology to learn all the standards and RDF stuff. But the second half, I focus more on applications, and I move on to a knowledge graph, and I make use of graph database to develop applications. So I feel that in this era of AI, lecturers and teachers and library schools, we need to show the way forward, So I'm teaching my students how to implement AI applications, to actually be able to do it. And I'm trying to show my academic librarian colleagues how to do it. So I have embarked on a few projects with collaborators in Singapore as well as overseas to show, how AI and knowledge graph can work together. The first project I'm going to show you is the Zubir site, a personal archive. So this is the area of digital archive and digital heritage. Zubir site was, let me maybe move on to the next slide, was the composer of the Singapore national anthem, and he was the pioneer musician in Singapore. He actually came from Sumatra, So many of our, prominent Singaporeans come from Indonesia as well as Malaysia and so on. And his family donated his personal archive to the Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts. So the Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts Library, wants to provide a digital website, interface to help users to explore this personal archive while they do the digitization. So I was invited to develop this application or website to provide an interface to explore Zubir site archive. So I developed a visualization interface based on graph, visualization technology. I use knowledge graph to link digital resources and concepts, show relations, help mind mapping, and to help users to synthesize a narrative about an issue. Okay, let me I'll show you, and it is live on the web, and actually I developed it at the beginning of the pandemic, but I need to change I just noticed that Zoom has changed its sharing, screen sharing function, so I need to find it. Okay, here. Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is the website. It says zubirsite.sg, and the instructions here say explore the knowledge graph or web of relationships centered on Zubir's site and his compositions, that means his music, his letters, his photos. And I say here, starting with musical work, and Majula Singapura is our national anthem, so there's one example. You can compare different versions and arrangements of this song, Majula Singapura, and then check out different performances and different items like different audio and image file. So this is, if you look more closely, this is based on FRBR, which academic librarians are familiar with. This is based on the music ontology, okay? And music ontology is based in this model after FRBR. So if you select, let's say, Majula Singapura, okay? So you can see in the middle here, and let me scroll down a bit. Yeah, this is Majula Singapura, okay? And this is the work. It says here, musical work, right? So this is like the metadata based on music ontology. And then you can find different scores, okay? So a score is a realization, yeah? And in FRBL, you realize it as an expression, right? You have work, expression, and then manifestation. So I'm using this to model, as a model for this knowledge graph. So in here it says Majula Singapura print score, and then you can click this to see the actual document here, okay? And you can see here then it links to item, so the actual digital item. You will notice that the manifestation is missing because this is not, it's not a publication, so, and also I want to simplify the ontology because if I have too many links, the users get confused. So you can see that when I apply library standards and ontology standards to a knowledge graph, I have to simplify it, otherwise the users get overwhelmed. So we can see different versions of it, and you can see that this version has a lot of performances. This performance is, I think this is linked to the archives website, and it is linked to, composers who have arranged. Okay, this is, I think, the current arrangement of Majula Singapura, that is the official arrangement, is arranged by Fun Yu Tian. And you can double click on this to explore. You can see that it links to, you can browse relationships using a knowledge graph. So this links to the biography page of Fun Yu Tian at the National Library. Yeah, so this is the biography. Yeah. And we also, link to his photos because he was an avid photographer. His photos. Yeah. Right, you can see the photographs. I think he took it himself, maybe with a stand, like a selfie. Yeah, and his letters. Yeah. So you can see that as we put in more and more resources, it becomes like hard to navigate. This is quite a lot to figure out. And so I provide a filter here. It says 135 nodes, and I can decide what to leave out. And not much. Okay. So now I'm thinking, how do I use generative AI to improve my, my interface? One thing I can do is the queries. Right now, the users can only query the knowledge graph just by clicking on here. You know? And yes, I do provide a keyword search, but this is like very minimal. The users cannot construct complicated knowledge graph queries, because this is like online searching, you need to learn the query language. Yeah. So I'm exploring using ChatGPT, okay, to help users to to submit a natural language query and then to convert it into the language of the graph database that I use, to do this. Another way that generative AI can help is to summarize, right? Because this is lots of stuff, So we can create prompts to get ChatGPT to summarize what is on the screen, the knowledge graph that's on the screen, and also to do analysis to highlight, interesting things in this knowledge graph. Okay, let me go on to maybe my most ambitious project. And this is the project to provide information on traditional herbal medicine. Okay? And this is a collaboration with my colleague in the history department. So he is really interested in the history of medicines, traditional herbal medicines. So we are still growing this knowledge graph. By the way, this is a version 2 of our interface so you are like the first audience to see this before we even launch it. And you can enter a keyword to search, and maybe Dr. Safira can think of Indonesian herbal, medicine that she wants to search here. But while, she's thinking about it, let me just type in the word akar. Akar is root, right? And so lots of medicines, based on roots. So if I type in akar, you can see that lots of Indonesian, you can see that we have some Indonesian and Malay herbal data. So if I click on this, you can see that there's this, Yeah, we don't have much information about this akar dawai, but we see that it's linked to a Chinese herb, Yeah. Okay. And what is this? I don't know what herb this is, I just pick up. This is Similex China R, okay? And if I double click on this, then I can see what is it linked to, So are there similar herbs in China, in Chinese medicine, in Thai, in India? Right now, we have quite a lot of new Indian data, so we are linking to, let me go full screen. Yeah, this is linked to this scientific name here. So from the scientific name, then we can see what are the other languages that have this. Okay, so for example, if you choose, I think this is Hindi, then you can see what are there are 2 drugs in Hindi that is related to this scientific name, to this herb. Of course, our most richest data is from China. Okay, then we can see that there are others. So we can see the links, between herbal drugs from across Southeast Asia and Asia. Okay, I want to see. Let me see I want to see the books that So what my collaborator did was he looked at medicine books, and he harvested these drugs from the medicine books. Okay, you can see that this particular Chinese drug is linked to other, other Chinese drugs, and even I think I don't know whether this is an Indonesian drug. I'm trying to find the book that has this. Yeah, okay. So here there is this book, and we call it the provenance because this is the origin of all these drugs. And we can see that this book has a lot of other drugs. So my collaborator is using this for his research. And this particular book is a famous book, and it's in in 618, that's a long time ago, right? And then the author is this guy, yeah? And what my collaborator did was to put the GPS code for this author. So he asked me to put in a Google map, so we can see that this author was over here. So he wanted to see where the drugs are the places where the drugs are associated with, so that we can put pins on Google Map to see where the drugs were, traded, or where the drugs were used. So what can we do? How can we improve this using generative AI? So again, we can improve the query, because right now the query is just based on keywords and on clicking, clicking here. Okay, clicking the knowledge graph. Okay, so we can have more complicated queries by allowing users to submit in natural language, and suddenly we can again summarize the results, using ChatGPT and Copilot. Okay, let me move on. Go back to my slides. Okay. Okay, I hope you can see my slides. Yeah, okay, so this is the Polyglot Asian Medicine website. Okay, then in addition to digital humanities and digital heritage, I'm also using Knowledge Graph to represent research results from scientific papers. So this is another branch of my Knowledge Graph research, which is to create scientific knowledge graph. So we model the research results, we extract research results from papers, okay, so that we can represent as knowledge graph and we can do more intelligent processing. We can, for example, identify research gaps, we can compare research results, we can summarize research from across different papers. But in order to do that, we need to figure out the discourse structure of the research papers. Okay, you are academic librarians, so you know that in academic reports, you need to have a literature, literature review, right, in the research paper, and you have to identify the research gap, and then the research objective, the research result, the contribution, So we need to identify which sentences or which paragraphs in the research paper represents the research gap, which one is the research objective. And then within the research objective, then we can extract the information from there, like the research objectives and research results, to represent it as a knowledge graph. So I did a prototype here where I try to extract cause and effect relationships, causal relationships. Like here's the cause, and then here's an effect. So for this particular paper that I use as an example, child abuse, or disadvantage in early childhood causes health problems later in life. So the cause will be child abuse, low economic status, and it causes health problems observed decades later. So I extracted all these phrases from the research papers. And I can compare what information is in the research result and whether the research objective has additional information, and quite often it may have information like the framework or model, the theory that is used. And the research gap may point out, okay, what is the focus of the research, and so on. So we are now using generative AI to try to analyze the discourse structure, okay? And then we also use generative AI to extract all this information like the cause and the effect. Okay, I don't know how much time I have. Maybe I can show you, the website that I am now creating for this particular project. Let me see. Okay, this one. This one is academicwriting.sg. Now, I just created this website last week, okay? So nobody has seen it yet except my collaborators, and you are, the only audience that is seeing it here. So the first step is to do this core structure analysis. So I have an example abstract here. Okay, I'm going to paste it here. Okay, and it uses ChatGPT to analyze the discourse, to tag the sentence to see which one is the research objective, which one is the research result. Okay, this is quite slow. It takes half a minute, okay? So I'm going to go back to my presentation and come back to this later. Okay, so to summarize, so I use generative AI as a complementary technology to knowledge graph in these ways. First, in knowledge graph construction, because to create an ontology is very laborious. So with knowledge graph, we can extract entities and relations and concepts. We can also use generative AI to help users to enter a natural language query. and this will be mapped to the database query language. We can summarize, in narrative form, because users, when there are too many, when the graph has too many nodes, it's difficult for users to figure out. We can do, this is, a hot topic in the past couple of years, retrieval augmented generation. We can combine the knowledge graph results together with web results and database results. We can do analysis, we can do knowledge graph analysis, network analysis, but we can also do text analysis using generative AI. And there are other things as well, like you can create agents, to perform useful tasks for the user. Let me see whether my submission to ChatGPT is completed. Okay, so you can see that the results are in. Here, if I can make it bigger. You can see that here it says, okay, maybe research gap is easier to answer. Yet we know surprisingly little about the effect of such identities on particular. So this is the research gap. Okay, so I think this is correct answer. Yeah. And then objective. I investigate how social identities shape racial labels. Okay, so this is research objective. So we can see that it's correct. Yeah. And then the research results is, and then contributions. These findings help us to better understand. Okay? And then finally here, this is the data structure in the JSON format that the results came back in. So I have to teach students how to interpret and process this data structure. Okay? So you can see that it's easy. Humans can read it. Say the rhetorical function is this. This is the sentence, and the next sentence is this. Okay, now Ibu Vidya mentioned earlier that we now use AI to enhance, human creativity and human effort. And I would like to add to that to say that we can use AI to probe, okay, or to analyze in what way humans are creative. We can use that to probe human intelligence. So I'm using this to compare with human coding. So right now we are analyzing the results, coding by ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT to do 2 codings, and I compared them, okay, and they're not absolutely the same. And I compared also with human coding, and using that to see in what way human coding is different, or better. Yeah. So I'm using, generative AI as a tool to study human behavior. Yeah. Let me go back to my slides now. Okay, now I'm moving on to the second part of my talk, and I don't know how much time I have, maybe 15 minutes, to show how I use ChatGPT to create a knowledge graph, to extract information to create a knowledge graph. And I'm going to use this example. This is a Sing Pioneers project, and we create a knowledge graph of famous people in the history of Singapore based on 450 biographies in our Singapore encyclopedia that our National Library calls Infopedia. And I'm sure you have in Indonesia lots more famous people, right? Lots of biographies. And maybe your National Library compiles biographies of these famous Indonesians. So I want to represent kinship and interpersonal relations, like who, of course, the genealogy, like who is the daughter and son of whom, or the teacher of whom, or the mentor, or the coaches. So these are interpersonal relationships. And then relationships with organizations, whether they studied in the school, or was a teacher in the school, or founder of a bank, or was active in some, political party, and so on. And what are their achievements, which industry and business sector they were active in, and so on. Okay, so I call this the Singapore Pioneers.sg project. Okay. But to do this, we created a prototype system where we only analyzed 20, and that already took 6 months. So I got my former student to create a knowledge graph and extract the information. So this is handcrafted knowledge graph based on 20 biographies. And it took 6 months, and we definitely cannot finish 450 biographies. So I'm getting ChatGPT to help me with this extraction. So I have to create the prompts. So let me show you the prompts that I use. Okay, by the way, this is what the knowledge graph looks like. Okay, lots of people, right? It's a social network. And this is the interface, but let me go on to the prompts. So we do entity and relation extraction from Singapore biographies, and we create prompts for that. Now, creating prompt is not easy. It's librarian work, you need librarian expertise. So for example, from this first, usually biographies start with this sentence. Right here, for example, Chen Wenxi, who is a famous painter, was born in Guangdong, China, was one of Singapore's pioneer artists. Another example, Haji Ambo Sulo, clearly, formerly Indonesian from Bugis, was a prominent Malay businessman of Bugis descent. So what kind of information do you extract from here? So we want to definitely extract the birth date and birthplace. So I say here, your task is to carry out information extraction from the text, extract a person and his birth date, and then a birthplace if it's available. And then I provide the format, to present it in this form. Okay. I also want to extract kinship relations. So since I have a whole list of kinship relations from my prototype, I gave it to ChatGPT. I say kinship includes ancestor, brother, and brother-in-law, and so on, and then to output it in this format. Okay. And then I want the achievements. So I asked, ChatGPT to extract achievements and recognition. And I think achievements and recognitions are like, they overlap but not exactly the same. Achievement will be what they achieve, by themselves. Recognition will be recognition from external parties where maybe they were awarded something. They have maybe they have a road named after them. They got some appointment like justice of peace, and so on. Okay. And then I also want to extract the date where they got their award. So I put here, the type of achievement and recognition. So the ChatGPT has to identify what is the relation, what's the type of achievement and recognition, and then the date when it was awarded. Okay, this one is more complicated. This is to identify the profession or occupation of the person. Okay, and I had to give ChatGPT some examples because this is more complicated. So for example, if you have a sentence that says, sculptor, Chang Chengbo. So that means sculptor is the profession, right? Yeah, or the occupation. And then ink painter, yeah. So I give a ChatGPT this example, and I say to extract this. Yeah. So this is called a few shot, training. You give just 1 or 2 examples to the Gen AI to do this. Okay, this one is also complicated. This Lu, okay, one of Chen's students, Lu, who became an artist. So that is his profession. And an avid art collector, that's another profession. So I'm showing ChatGPT what to extract from here, just using this prompts. Okay. Now, so I have to extract lots of things, okay? But that using ChatGPT, costs money, So I want to put all these steps into one submission. So I say, step 1, extract relations between a person and a school. Step 2, extract relations between this, and then step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, okay, so that I can save some money to do a few extractions at the same time. Now I find that ChatGPT is actually very good at it, at this. It's particularly good at reference resolution. So for example, here we have a prolific painter who worked in a range of styles. Then Chen, okay, won acclaim for this. So ChatGPT is able to figure out that Chen is Chen Wenxi, although Chen Wenxi is only listed at the top, at the first line of the biography, so that is really helpful to me. This is very difficult to do using traditional text mining or natural language processing. It's able to, resolve this reference, to the beginning of the biography. And another example here is, Chen embarked on a trip to, Hanoi, Vietnam, and then he, so ChatGPT knows that he refers to Chen, and Chen is Chen Wenxi. And I was able to figure out that he arrived in Singapore, okay, in this date. And the previous, the previous stop where he came from was Vietnam, because he took a trip from Hanoi, Vietnam, and then Singapore. Actually, this one I wanted it to be China, because originally he started on China and then he went on the tour, But you can see that ChatGPT is not able to figure that out, yeah. ChatGPT thought that Vietnam came before Singapore, so therefore that's his origin, but the origin is from China. Okay, this is an even more complex reference expression. So Ambo Solo, Indonesian, had 2 wives and 10 children, and one of them, so one of them means one of the children, so he's able to figure out that this Haji Abdullah Amin is one of the children, so is a child of Ambo. So this is, you can see that ChatGPT is able to do a lot better than previous text mining. A lot, it helped me a lot. Another one that is quite impressive. Ambo Solo is best remembered as the founder of the Malay newspaper Utusan Melayu. And he started this together with Yusof Ishak. Okay? So in other words, Yusof Ishak is also a founder, and ChatGPT was able to figure that out. It says Yusof Ishak was a founder of Utusan, and this is quite. By the way, Yusof Ishak is the first president of Singapore, okay? And actually our dollar bills has his face, so I usually use this as an example in my class. I ask my students, foreign students, international students, have you seen Yusof Ishak? They say, no, we have never seen. I say, you see him every day when you take out your money. Maybe one last example of how ChatGPT is very good at information extraction, and that's to identify the scope of the conjunction. So, for example, Chen was employed as an art teacher at this, and then N, So the Chinese high school and at NAFA. So this identifying the scope of the conjunction is very difficult in text mining, like this one, and then at NAFA, Yeah, traditionally in text mining, it tends to identify the 2 things that are like very close to the end, Yeah, but here is able to know that the first part of the conjunction goes all the way to here, and the second part ends here. So it's able to extract it correctly, So Chen Wenxi was a teacher at the Chinese high school, Chinese high school, from 1949 to this, and then the Nanyang Academy of Fine Arts from this. Okay? And is able to even resolve this NAFA to the full form, by tracing back the biography. Another example is here, N. Okay, so what is linked by the N? So here, the link by the N is not, this will be incorrect, Right? The thing that's just next to the N is not correct. You need to extend it all the way here. The sculptor, Chang Cheng-po, and ink painter, Yeah. So ChatGPT was able to do that. As teacher, Chang Cheng-po, and Pan Pian Tiang Shai. Okay, let me show you what librarians still need to do, So ChatGPT can do a lot of work for us, but librarians are still needed. Okay? So let me show you the output from this extraction. Let me see whether, let me make sure that you can see it. Okay, I hope you can see this, and if not, Dr. Safira will let me know. So this is one of the output from ChatGPT's extraction. So you can see that we are trying to identify the birth dates, Yeah. So Ahmad Mata, his birth. Okay, when was he born? He was born in Singapore. Okay, and when was he born? 13 August 1940. Okay, and then look at the next one. Maurice Baker was born in a remote kampong. You know what a kampong is? In Alostar, Kedah. But after this extraction, librarians still need to do control vocabulary, So for example, a remote kampong in Alostar, we cannot put that in a knowledge graph because it doesn't match anything. So we need to identify we need to extract the town, which is Alostar, see? And then after that, I got to create the taxonomy or the ontology for this. So I call this location. See, normalized. That means that I have to put this in the control vocabulary so that we can link things together. So this is librarian work. Or here, the year, okay? So I want to get just the year, not this is in text form, right? So I have to extract the year for this. I find that ChatGPT is very good at extracting years, but it's not good at extracting range of years, from this year to that year. So I find that I still need to manually, examine and fill in the range of years because ChatGPT doesn't do that well. So I need to figure out what ChatGPT is good at, what ChatGPT is not good at, and to complement, to review and put my, human input before I can put it out on the web for users to use. Maybe one more example from here. Okay, step 3, I can't remember what it is. Oh, okay, this is to identify their occupation. So this is the relationship, person, occupation, and then fashion consultant. Then I need to know what control vocabulary to use. So for example, expert on Peranakan and Singapore cuisine. Okay, that's too long, then I got to decide that the term to use is Chinese cuisine, okay? So to show you that academic librarians still are needed, okay, to work with ChatGPT to improve their output. Okay, let me go back to my slides now. Okay, so what are some issues in this? So I've shown you the issues in terms of having to create control vocabulary. Sometimes ChatGPT gets confused by the direction of the relation. So if I say son, so we don't know whether person 1 is the son or person 2 is the son, so I have to say has son, So in my prompt, I got to figure out how to help ChatGPT or has relation, and sometimes that doesn't work, so I have to say has relation type. Okay, so for biographical text, you see that ChatGPT is quite good at it, But what about more complicated stuff? So I am working with my collaborators in Thailand, in Mahasarakam, to extract cause and effect information from medical text. That means disease and treatment information, So this is part of our work in extracting research results from research papers, and represent it or summarize it for users. So maybe as a final thing, I will show you the output. So this is what we are evaluating now, the output from ChatGPT. So this is the abstract. It says seed-borne diseases have seriously affected sustainability of sorghum cultivation in China. Okay. And then we identified this colotrichum, this fungus that's causing this problem, okay, and so on. You can see that this text is very technical and complicated. So we want to extract the disease, what causes the disease and what is the treatment. So here is able to identify, okay, this sorghum is the plant, okay, the disease is this, okay, and the cause is the fungus, and the effect, okay, we use some, extract the phrase that express the effect. And then what's the size of the effect? Okay, it's significant. Okay, and other things like what is a mediator, variable, moderator, okay, not listed here. And then this paper is talking about how to prevent it, so prevention, And so what is the effect of prevention? In what way does it present? So it suppresses the pathogen transmission, okay? And what is it that prevents it? Okay? It says here potassium bicarbonate, and then the scientific term is this. Okay? So we are right now trying to improve, the ChatGPT results by changing the prompts, by making the prompts clearer. You notice that we also have to specify the data structure. We are telling ChatGPT you need to identify what is the effect size, what is the thing that's preventing it, and we realize that there's an informal term, a scientific term, what is the dosage, and so on. So this is librarian work, this is what we are good at. Okay, so this is it for my presentation. Um, Thank you very much for your attention. I hope this wasn't too detailed and heavy, but I thought that I should show you what librarians can do, and this is what I'm teaching my students, to be able to implement real AI applications, put it up on the web. I tell them it's not enough just to show me on the computer. You got to put it out on the web, and when you go for a job interview, ask the interviewers, go to this hyperlink, and see my AI application.
Okay,
Thank you very
Chris.
much.
Thank you so much. Give a big applause to Chris from Singapore. Thank you so much. It's very clear presentation and also a live demo for your project. For sure, we have better ideas of how knowledge graph works. Bapak Ibu, this is a great honor for us that this is the first presentation about this topic of knowledge graph, and very interesting how to see knowledge graphs can be used to link digital resources and link concepts, and also show relations and network structure, support mind mapping and browsing and learning, and help synthesize narrative about particular issue like herbal medicine. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you very much, Dr. Safira. Can I say that we are looking for collaborators from Indonesia?
Okay, for sure. This is very...
We're looking for
yeah.
collaborators for the traditional medicine. We need
Yes.
data sets on the
Yes.
Indonesian traditional
Yes.
medicine.
Yeah, we've got
And maybe we can
ideas
collaborate
this.
on the cow disease,
Oh yeah, okay, yes, for sure we will collaborate in the future. We will talk about this later. Okay, Bapak Ibu. So now we move to the next session for the Q&A. So Mas Chandra and Mas Patrick, can you help us to show the questions that already we have through the Slido? Okay, good. Okay, so this one is for Ibu Widya. So is it also for Chris also? So can you read this one? Okay.
Yes, so the question is, nowadays most teachers and lecturers are afraid that their student using AI on learning process in class.
In the class, yes.
Yeah, and what do I think about it? Do you have any suggestion? So thank you, Ibu. Can I answer
Yes,
directly?
yes, sure,
okay,
please.
so fortunately, as we speak right now, I'm actually being both sides of the coin, right? I'm teaching at Universitas Indonesia, Sekolah Vokasi, Bapak Ibu, and then I'm also a student at UKM. So, and I love AI, not because I work for Microsoft at Chris, but it really, as a student, of course, I use that to actually gather all the resources, right? Books, topic that I would like to focus on, because it's a lot of things to study. So it streamlined the resources. However, I remember my promoter say, hey, integrity is number one. So if it's not your idea, you're not going to go anywhere. People will know it's not your idea. So that promoter kind of statement is stuck in my head. So I use that as a reference, but what I write is what I think. Right, that's number one. Number two, as a lecturer, actually the very first class, Bapak Ibu, because I know they will use it anyway. So if I say no, they're like our children, right? If we keep saying no, they're gonna do it behind your back. So what I say is, look, I know you all have ChatGPT or Copilot from Microsoft, use it. But when I say something, please do respect me. Because if you don't respect me, then on the road, after you graduate, you're not going to go anywhere, right? And I say integrity is number one. So I actually, when I ask questions, I challenge them. Now it's time for you to check on your phone and your laptop and see what ChatGPT talk about it. And they look at it, I give them time, and after 5 minutes, I say, so what do you think? So I challenge one group to another group. They both use AI to find answer, but I challenge their opinion by asking, so in real life, what is the recent topic that you think reflects to my question? Having said that, it actually supports the possibility of discussion. And for me, it's okay, because one, we have to embrace and make sure we control AI as much as we can. and for the benefit of our need. So that's my suggestion. Try to control the audience and try to control AI. Challenge the student to use it, but then you have to be outsmart them, right? So you need to make sure that we have the wisdom to do so. So link that with current situation and then re-challenge them, ask them to do research, but ask their opinion. Opinion matters, and AI just help them to provide example. So that's what I believe. I hope I answer your question.
Yes, I think with a good example. But I guess this is good idea for us to understand this perspective from Prof. Ku. Chris?
Yes, I
Perhaps
fully
yes,
agree
because
with
you are also lecturer.
Ibu
Yes, please.
Vidya. Yes, I ask my students to cite ChatGPT. They are allowed to use it, but they need to tell me in the report how they use it and which part of it is from ChatGPT. Also, in my assignments, I ask them for the ideas, the ideas that they put in ChatGPT. What are their ideas? What is their vision? Yeah. I also make sure that all my classes have a test, in-class test where they cannot access the web and anything, But I make sure that their phones are in their bag on the floor so that they don't consult their phones, Yeah, so I have to balance this. So in the class, term papers and all that, I allow that because I know that they are going to, before ChatGPT, they will be using Google, they'll be discussing with their friends, that's fine, But then I want to see what are their ideas, that they submit to ChatGPT. Because I think the important thing are the ideas now.
Okay, well, that's good. Okay, thank you so much. Ibu Widya, I understand that you have to fly for another agenda. But Prof. Ku, can you just stay a bit more? We still have like 1 or 2 questions for you, but Ibu Widya need to leave us. But Ibu Widya, can you please just provide us with a nice closing statement, please?
Oh my goodness, this is the most, what do you may call it, the scariest part. Bapak Ibu sekalian, again, AI is just a tool. If you don't touch it, they're not going to go anywhere. But once you touch it, you have to outsmart them by using your wisdom, using your empathy, and using all of the humanity level to control AI and to make sure that everyone, students, teachers, educators, government, can adopt the AI but use it to help their life, but we are still the people and the brain behind it. And thank you so much. Thank you
so
very, very much.
This is very enlightening. So we are so happy to have you. Bapak Ibu, give big applause to Widya.
Ibu Wulan, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, first Ibu Wulan, we will have a token appreciation. Yeah, and the conference chair committee would like to present a token
Yes, I think before you go,
appreciation
we will just give you
to
some token
Ibu
of
Wulan.
appreciation. Okay.
Yeah. Please, Ibu Orisa. Ya, sekali lagi kita beri tepuk tangan yang meriah untuk Bu Wulan atas, terima kasih sekali atas ilmu yang luar biasa hari ini.
Okay, we thank you so much for Ibu Widya. Have a nice flight. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, Chris, some
excuse me.
participants still feel so curious about your topic and just give us some questions. Mas Patrick and Mas Chandra, can you please help share some questions for Chris?
Excuse me there. Assalamualaikum.
Yes. Oh, okay. Bear with me.
I think
Ibu-
there is a question from the Zoom room from Ibu Aini.
Yes, Ibu Aini, thank you so much for being with us. Please
Yeah,
just wait for
I just want to inquire, is this my session is part of it? Because from the invitation I received, I have to talk about ethics and policy for
Yes,
AI
yes,
implementation.
yes.
Is it on? Or I
Yes.
just can excuse myself?
Yes. Yes, still on, and we are happy to have you after Chris just answer the questions, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay,
thank you.
that's good. Okay. Yes, please, Chris.
Okay, so the question is, are there challenges to implement knowledge graphs in academic libraries? Okay, all these technologies, they are challenging if you are developing them for the first time. Right? So for me, it was quite challenging because I have to read the manuals from the beginning, you know? Yeah, so but now when I teach my students, it's much easier. They can pick it up very fast because now there are examples. So I give them my code and then they can modify it, make quick changes, and then adapt it to various things. And actually now this is the kind of coding that people do. It's very seldom that you have to code from scratch, from the beginning. You go to Google or ChatGPT and ask, is there a sample code to do this? And then you make some changes. Yeah. So the challenges, I think the first challenge is fear. You need to be courageous. You need to jump into it. And I tell my students that the difference between you and IT professionals is that IT professionals think that they can do it, so they will persevere, Whereas for library science students, maybe they give up too quickly, So for this kind of work, you need to like immerse yourself in it, take time, You need to be courageous. But if you have somebody to show you, for me, so I act as a mentor to my students and also former students. They can consult me. And if you don't have a mentor, you can have peers, together with other librarians. You can share code, share ideas. So you don't just share ideas, but you can also share your code. So that's why I show you some of my prompts, some of my code. And by doing this, you can quickly, catch on to develop a particular type of application. So this conference is very valuable if people can share their ideas, but also share their methods, and after the conference to share their code and their resources so that we can together improve. I would like to say, maybe as a closing remark, that I see that the future is very bright for academic librarians, but we have to embrace AI and explore it, and then we can use that to help our the lecturers and researchers in the university. So for example, I find that people in humanities, we are going into digital humanities, but they don't know what to do. They really need a lot of help from people who can help them with their digital human. And librarians, I think, are well positioned to do that. They'll be so happy. They'll find you so valuable. They don't want you ever to leave the library.
Okay, okay, thank you so much, Chris, for responding this. And yes, so actually we still have several questions, but we just need to move to the Ibu Aini. But Chris, we thank you so much for sharing with us. It's very enlightening, and we for sure we would like to have future collaborations with you. Thank you so much. You please free to join on this to move to the another agenda. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you very much, Dr. Safira.
Okay, Bapak Ibu yang terhormat, kita akan menuju ke the next presentation. Halo, Ibu Aini.
Can I say something?
Yes, Ibu Aini, are you?
Assalamualaikum. I'm from Malaysia.
Oh, yes.
Okay, due to time constraint and also the program, we're supposed to finish at 11:15 now. I don't know whether we have enough time to go through my presentation.
Yes, I think it's just a good idea perhaps for you to share for 30 minutes.
Or maybe I have checked my slide. Maybe just distribute if time, because 11:15 you're supposed to start another event.
Sure.
Yeah, so maybe I have share with you with Doctor my slide. Maybe you can just distribute that one. So maybe I can complete my presentation very fast.
Yes.
Because the rest the participant can go through my slide. Yeah, so that if they need any clarification, we still can continue this collaboration.
Okay, sure. Okay, Bapak Ibu, Ibu Aini is a chair in STI policy for Asia Pacific Network, UNESCO, and also AI governance expert in UNESCO, and director for AI policy and governance. And IIRAA Venture, STN PhD, this is Industrial Institute of Responsible of AI in Malaysia. Okay, Ibu Aini, please welcome.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me share my slide. Or maybe if I have a technical problem, really appreciate the technical from your side can help me also to share the slide, yeah?
Yes, we have the backup already, no problem.
Okay, okay, let me share. Can everybody see my slide?
Yes, this is good.
Okay. So, Assalamualaikum again and good morning to all the participants for inviting me to share my knowledge, my experience on this topic, AI policy and AI governance, yeah, ethics, implementation. What I'm going to cover today very briefly, because I've been in this area for the last 10 years on AI, because Malaysia, we have the Center of AI Robotics for the last 28 years. Yeah, so AI is not new to Malaysia. So I'm going to cover very briefly at the global level and also, through the Stefan, and also at the regional level through the ASEAN initiative, and also can share a little bit about Malaysia case study. So that means all the participants can know what going on AI policy and AI ethics. So I heard from two speakers this morning, I believe now the participants have a good knowledge on understanding about AI and how AI been adopted in education. So I'm happy with that one. And also after that, Singapore speakers also share on the generative AI and also prompt engineering. So that is very good, because both are very important and enabler to the education and to the librarians. So I will focus on the policy, the roadmap, and the ethics implementation. So let me see why people nowadays at the global, they're talking about AI, yeah? So let me start a little bit why, because it's all talking about the business, all talking about the economics, yeah? They're talking about the economics. So based on the market that been done in 2020, they said that, and also 2022, after they introduced the generative AI, the world is expecting about 730 billion US dollars. And from generative AI itself, talking about 207 billion. So because of this, every country and every continent is pushing on AI, yeah? And let us see what happened to ASEAN. So based on the study for ASEAN as well, they're talking about ASEAN by 2030, together we're going to have 950 billion what they call it, revenue from AI, whereby it's very good news. Indonesia will be number one. If you look at this one, Indonesia will be the first one, talking about 366 billion. So throughout the ASEAN, Indonesia will be the leading by 2020 for the AI for AI and also generative AI revenue for the ASEAN. So because of that, all the country members for ASEAN, we have developed a roadmap by AI responsible roadmap 2030, so that we can materialize this 950 billion for ASEAN country members. So now from that, so everybody, including the education, the librarian, we have our roles. Okay, so where are we at the moment? So this is study being done by IDC. They said, okay, as for 2024, Malaysia, for example, because today I'm talking about Malaysia and Indonesia, we are at the exploration stage. Yeah, we are at this exploration stage in terms of AI stage, because we have lack of limited innovation, and we also have limited case study, and we also have limited regulation related to AI and AI ethics. So this is studied by them, but I will share with you. And on top of that, if we look at Asia Pacific, because I'm covering the Stefan for Asia Pacific, we can see India, Taiwan, South Korea, they are in the practitioner and they are innovators. But who are the leaders? in ASEAN and also for the world, Singapore is the leader. Singapore is a leader stage, and because Singapore have just now, we have participants from Singapore. They said how advanced they are in the AI adoption and AI development. They have so many innovations. They have so many AI investors coming into the countries, and they also have huge revenue generated from the AI. So from here we can see, because it's very important, where are we at the moment from that, so that we want to move from explorer, we want to move at least to the innovator. So from that, we can develop our roadmap. So from the roadmap, we will see how we want to move from AI explorer. At least we want to move to AI practitioner. So what are the needed, what we need, so that when we develop the roadmap, when we develop the strategy, we can align to this. Yeah. So this is the performance for the global as far as AI, but they focus on the government for the public sectors. So the first one is United States. So that's where I mentioned Singapore is number 2. And you can see the score is 84%. So the score is based on the governance readiness. They based on data center, data and infrastructure, and also looking into the technology. So if you look at Malaysia and Indonesia, as far the ASEAN, Singapore number 1, Malaysia we are number 2. Yeah, so we are, and then also Indonesia is number 4. So this where are we at the moment in terms of AI governance. And for Malaysia, what I want to share, we are number 2 because we are strong on our government pillar. And we are ready with our governance. I will explain to you a little bit what we're talking about governance, why governance is very important, and what Malaysia have contribute to get this 82 score to be considered is quite high in terms of governance. But no doubt we are very, lack of the technology, AI technology development. So we need collaboration. We can work closely together with Singapore, with Indonesia, and then we can increase our technology pillars. We can improve our position as well. For data and infrastructure, Malaysia is quite advanced a little bit, because Malaysia have invested a lot on data sharing for the government. We have the Act, Omnibus Act, whereby the government agency can share all the data, because we know data is very important for AI system. To train the AI, we need the data, accuracy of the data as well. And on top of that, beside data sharing, we also have Act. We have the Act. Indonesia can share with Malaysia, Data Sharing Act that we have introduced last April. We also have we receive investment about 115 billion investment from all multinational companies like Nvidia, and we receive about 6 billion, and so Microsoft, Huawei from China. So we receive a huge investment on data center. So by 2028, Malaysia is going to have more than 80 data center to be completed throughout our states levels. So this where is Malaysia position. I think we can learn a lot together with Indonesia as well. So why is government, all those countries just now we mentioned about those score, they are focusing on AI governance. What is AI governance? Before AI governance and ethics. So AI governance is something like we need to provide the policy. Some people call it roadmap. Some people call it blueprint. And then we also have to develop the standard. And what are the mechanism, the guideline, so that to ensure our people are safe, our people are our system is not an unethical system, So we have to look into this governance, and we also have to ensure that our AI system is unethical, very transparent, safe, fair, and somebody must be accountable. When we're talking about the human-centric in AI system, everybody must be accountable for the AI system that they develop. And last not least, we have to look into the privacy, because now we can see a lot of they're using our personal data. So because of that, Malaysia also have reviewed our existing personal data protection for individual. And last not least, we also have to look at inclusivity, because I understand not only Malaysia, Indonesia also we have very different culture, different languages, different belief, like languages we're talking about in Indonesia and Malaysia itself with more than 300 languages, So to be fair, to be AI for all, so we have to look into the ethics. So we have to build the trust. So we also have to look into governance, or to look at the society, as I mentioned just now, diversity and also the human rights. That means everybody is talking about, oh, my job going to be lose, I will lost my job, and I'm not happy. My children is not safe using the AI, So because of that, we have to look into the society as well. We have to look into what unlock the parents, what the parents should know about AI, so that parent can advise their children. Because nowadays at school level, our children have been introduced on AI, so we look into that value as well. And last not least, we also have to look at the balance, how we want to balance innovation and also the adoption, because as you know, just now I mentioned 950 billion. We cannot just looking into from adoption of AI, So we have all the country, ASEAN country, we have to move into the AI development as well, technology development. From that, we can get return of investment. So we don't have to talk about LLM, large language model, because it's very expensive. Maybe for the ASEAN and all the country, we can look into the small language model that can fit our own requirement and with the less cost. Yeah, so we can look into that. And then we can see in the governance, where are governance labs? And there are so many gaps now. We have 5 countries. You can look into this. So because every country, they have the different standard, they have different legal, and they have different what I call it values, because there is a conflict. So because of that, we need to come out with harmonization. How we can harmonize it within ASEAN, for example. We have 11 country members. How we can ensure that our regulation, our standard can be harmonized, so that we can come out with the AI, responsible AI. Yeah, from Stefan as well, because I'm the chair for Stefan, whereby the office is in Jakarta under UNESCO. We're also looking into AI. Yeah? We have got 3 trust area. So we look into the AI governance. It's very important. And under the governance, we focus on the open science. Why open science is very important? Yeah, because open science is the movement, how we make the scientific research, our data, method, and publication is open accessibly. So that is the role of, because we want AI for all, that's why librarian play a major role, because librarian is the platform to access and disseminate all the information about research, about scientific, about citation as well. So because of that, even though we're talking about AI, because AI we're talking about data, we need the accurate the data to train the AI system. So because of that, we understand the stewardship of the librarian is very crucial, so that the public, not only research, the student, we want to ensure that the public also can access to this information, to this data. And then we also look into the cooperation, our trust too. That's why collaboration in the SDG technologies, whereby when we're talking about SDG technology, science technology, we also include AI as well. AI also is part of the AI technologies. That is our Stefan for Trust 2. And also when we look at the Trust 3, we also look into the capacity building. So we are here today as well for this sharing knowledge session. We're also looking at the capacity building. We touch about AI policy, we touch about governance, we touch about generative AI, we touch also about AI in education. So that's part of the capacity building. So that's the role of Stefan for Asia Pacific region. Yeah, so I'm the chair session for Stefan. Okay, so that's the initiative that I have explained just now. We look into the open science, we look into the AI, and we're also looking into the capacity building. And then, but when we implement this AI policy and open science, not only at the global, because I'm also the expert for UNESCO level on AI governance, at the ASEAN level as well, and also at Malaysia national level, this is a similarity. I share with you, this is similarity in terms of the issues faced. There is lack of comprehensive national policy being implemented. Most countries, they have a very beautiful policy, including Malaysia as well. But how about the implementation? because there are so many issues on implementation. For example, definitely in terms of the investment, financial, okay, that is one of the issues. And we're also talking about incentive to all the stakeholders. That's also another issue. And also we're talking about the skills, because in Malaysia particularly we have lack of skills on AI. So currently both policies are not linked to the national blueprint. Why? For Malaysia example, in 2020, Malaysia focused more on the digital blueprint. We're talking about economic digital, whereby we look at digital, we look all the emerging technology. We are not really focusing on AI. But now because the world talking about AI, so also we are moving towards the AI as well. So we have to come out with special AI policy and roadmap for the country. And each country members, they promote AI difference, they have different strategy. That's why I mentioned about harmonization as well. And then limited incentive, limited investment from the government, and also the ethics. When I did together with Indonesia, I work closely with BRIM, I work closely with KONIKA, under UNESCO, we developed the AI readiness. Where are we at the moment for the country by country? So we look at the trust, transparency, biasness, accountability, and inclusiveness. So the report is ready. All the participants and the librarian especially, you can download all these ASEAN country policy readiness. Where are we? Is good for the what I call public, and also for the researchers, and also for the stakeholders to share where are our country readiness for AI. Yeah. So this also another issue. So you can see there's so many issues. So even though for Malaysia, for other countries, maybe Indonesia know where are your issues, but this is the issue I share. There is no proper standard. So now what, like Malaysia, we don't have our standard. But we participate in the ISO International Standard 42,000. We become the P members. But for Malaysia, because we don't have much technology, AI technology, and we don't have the many cases, so it's quite difficult for us to develop the technical standard. Yeah? And then lack of infrastructure. But for Malaysia, just now I mentioned, we are quite strong in implementation and also capacity building, and we also have champion, because at the moment in Malaysia, we don't have really looking at who are the real champion expert in the AI to advise us on the technical support. Yeah? And then limited best practices on AI. All the industry also, we are trying to get as much as possible, because the industry have adopted or developed AI slowly. So now we are in the stage of to gather all the best practices for AI and open science. Okay. So based on all this, I mentioned to you all those issues, implementation, in 2019, Malaysia has started to develop our roadmap. And as part of it, from the Ministry of Science and also from UTM, University Technology Research from the government, we have our Center of Robotics for 28 years. Together, we developed this roadmap for Malaysia. So we implemented in 2021 until now. So almost 4 years we have implemented the AI roadmap. Okay, so and then we focus on 6 areas. We focus on governance, it's very important. And based on that one, we have formed up our Ministry of Digital in 2023, because we don't have Ministry of Digital. Now we have Ministry of Digital. And last December, we also have established National AI Office to do the monitoring, coordination in terms of regulation, in terms of the Act, Future Act for AI. So we have the Office of National. And we also have R&D, we're looking on the AI technology development. Government is giving the grant to look at our SME to also involve in the technology development. And we look at the data sharing infrastructure, whereby we have developed the Act I mentioned earlier. We have the Omnibus Act, whereby within the government, we know what are the issues. Data sharing, very difficult from one ministry to another ministry. So we have developed the Act. So the Act, if any ministry is reluctant to share the data, accuracy of the data, there's a little bit of punishment. So we have the Act, and we are in the stage to gazette and implement this Act effectively. And we also have fostering the talent. Now we are introduced the Faculty of AI in Malaysia. We have focused under UTM, under our university. We have the Faculty of AI. And we also have now talking about TVET, Professional of AI. So now we're moving toward the TVET education as well. And we're also looking lifelong learning because AI is for all. So we look at all those stakeholders, including the parents, unlock the grassroots. And we also have the system, training system AI untuk rakyat. Yeah, it's free of charge with the 13 modules for the awareness of AI. So more than 1.5 million people now have knowledge on AI. So to increase our culture and also the accretion of AI for the Malaysia. And last not least, we also have the AI innovation system. So now we know that our roadmap is almost completed. So now we come out with the National AI 2026 to 2030. And we also focus on the same trust area, but we're going to enhance, we're going to strengthen, we're going to build up. So we have the development for the last 4 years. Now for the next 5 years, we're going to about an enhancement. But for Malaysia, we are focusing on 5 areas. We're going to focus on agriculture. We focus on medical and health care, smart city and transportation, education, and also public service. So this the area is our prioritization. It's not considered other areas is not important, but this is the area that government of Malaysia going to focus on. Yeah. So of course, when we implement this one, we know all those issues. Because of that, we have introduced the total engagement. So whenever we develop the roadmap, whenever we develop the policy and also action plan, we make sure the government will be involved on that. Government will look into and then we look at the academia, industry, society, and also we have international partnership as well. So each of them have the roles to play. Government will look into regulation, into the standard. Academia will look into the R&D, publication. They look into the TVET program. And industry, they have to look the investment. They have to look into the data sharing, and they have to make sure that AI data system is very safe. And also we involve the society because we cannot involve individual because it's million of people. So we focus on association. So all AI communication, we're talking about sharing, we're moving towards the society and the association. Yeah? So that's how we look into the implementation of AI policy and ethics. So this is the AI innovation ecosystem that we have established in Malaysia. I mentioned to you that we have governance and we have industry talent as well. Yeah? And we're talking about AI. So for the last 4 years, since I'm the governance, looking at governance, regulation, and also implementation of this roadmap, we have established good collaboration with all over the world, with Japan, UNESCO, and then we have also AI Singapore, looking at the training, and also with Japan, and also with BRIM, and also with Konica in Indonesia. So we work closely with all over the world, with the multinational organization, Microsoft, NVIDIA, and also we have IRIA. I believe IRIA is also in Jakarta as well. Yeah? And we have ISTIC, also look at the UNESCO at Jakarta. I think Indonesia play a major role for the ASEAN implement the AI policy and governance. Yeah? So this I just share with you based on all this one. This is the challenges. So that when we involve in AI system development, adoption, lack of regulatory. I believe as Indonesia also have that problem, and we data privacy and security. We want to protect our patient. Example in health, we want to patient data protection, and we look at interoperability because all these data they are not changeable. It's not being fragmented. The data infrastructure not being integrated, and we have a lot of algorithm bias, ethical accountability. When we have this ethic, who's accountable for the AI system, and we still have the lack of workforce. So I believe these challenges also apply to all Malaysia, ASEAN, and certain countries globally. Yeah, and from that one, that's where we come out with the regulatory horizon to overcome the AI safety. To the people, to the human being, into the environment as well. Because SDG, we focus on SDG. We want to make sure our environment also safe. So we have come out with this regulatory. We look at the guideline, AI principle and ethics. That is the key enabler. And we look at the impact. After we have this AI, what are the impact to the government, public sector? What are the impact to the people? What are the impact to the organization as well? and we look into AI standard and also AI regulation. Malaysia yet to look at AI regulation. We are in the fifth study now, and after that we look into the AI system, AI system related to the hard law, because we need the certification and we need the act as well. So we are moving towards that. Yeah. This is what I mentioned. What is horizon? We look at the balance between the hard law. We're talking about the act, and also the soft. We're talking about ethics, standard, and certification. So we need to balance these two. So because of that, because all those issues, we're talking biasness, we're talking unethical risk, and we're talking about to be ensure the safety of the human rights, human centrics. In 2020, 190 countries have sit down together, including Malaysia and Indonesia, led by UNESCO. We have developed this AI ethics recommendation. So this document has been downloaded, so everybody can access, all the librarian can access to this ethics, whereby this is the first global standard ethics for the world, under UNESCO. We look at 10 principles to ensure that human rights, the dignity of us when we deal with the AI system. So everybody talking about, can we trust AI? Is AI can take our job? Now, because of that, we have come out with the policy action as well. We cover the gender, we cover education, we cover research, we cover health and social well-being as well. Yeah. So again, this UNESCO recommendation ethic also have been downloaded, and that I hope librarian now in Indonesia can access to this and to share with all the stakeholders and the nation. So why is very important? Because this ethic principle, we look at the global, we look at the standardization, harmonization, we look at ethical development, because every country, every nation, even though we have the guideline at UNESCO level, but we advise every country to develop their own national AI ethics, because they have their own belief, they have their own religions, they have their own constitution, to protect their human being. So that it's better go for the national. So in Malaysia, when I developed this roadmap together with Mosti, we did a survey. We have 87 people don't trust AI. So how we want to build out the trust? So because of that, we come out with the roadmap to increase the trust, because in AI, trust is very important, because we need to share the data. Yeah? And also global cooperation between ASEAN, between the STEFAN, between the other global as well. And also to promote innovation, education capacity is very important, because in AI, especially ASEAN level and South level, we are lack of AI, what they call AI. And we look at, just like I mentioned, diversity as well. Yeah? So we cover that one. So, and we also refer to OECD. OECD also a good reference for the AI governance, because they have established in 2019, we shared, and they look into two parts. They look into we have a lot of who are the actors in AI system and what are the recommendations. So this one also they have update in the May 2024. OECD also helping us on AI principle, ethics principle, and AI governance. Yeah. So I hope librarians in Indonesia have all this information. And because of that also, because we know that ASEAN, we have to make sure that we can get the 133 billion, so we come out with ASEAN guideline as well. So in 2022, we're working closely together, and 2024, all the country members, 10 country members, we have launched our ASEAN guideline on AI ethics. So today, I'm not going to go that detail, because I only have about 20 minutes I'm sharing with you all, but please go to this, what I call guideline. It's very comprehensive guideline. All the librarians can look at what we mean by transparency, what are definition, how we're going to measure the transparency, the fairness, what we mean by safety, security, human-centric, privacy, accountability, and robustness. So all the 10 country members, we're going to use AI principle in our AI governance and implementation. And in 2022, everybody remember that all the world have introduced us on the generative AI. Again, the working committee, including Malaysia, we have expanded this guideline to cover the AI generative AI as well. So again, that document can be accessed through the what they call it online, so everybody can have all this information. So for Malaysia, based on all this, not least, we also I'm heading this one, so we have developed our AI guideline. But why is slightly different? Because what I did is we have 3 parts of guidelines. we put AI guideline for the end user because we are the end user, and we are the consumer. What is our roles as far as AI system is concerned when we want to use the AI? And we also have a guideline for the policy, for the regulator, what they should do, what are the framework, what are the responsibility that they have to take into the, and part C, we look at the developers, all the companies, when they develop or they design the technology, what are their responsibility into the AI ethics and governance. So we have, again, all this information also we have shared with all the global, and all the people also can share this. Yeah, you all can have all this information and guideline. So why this guideline is very important? Because EU, South Korea, and so many countries now they're going to introduce and also launch their act. So by 2026, all the country, they said, all, especially whoever use the AI, develop AI, and they export the AI, they need to comply to the country AI Act. So they're looking into make sure that our AI system is acceptable. So if not unacceptable, if impact our safety, the social is not safe to the social, for example, we use our the data to train the AI without consent, or maybe it's not fair, or we didn't put inclusiveness of the AI system, we miss some of the race, or we miss some of the category, is considered unacceptable. Same goes to South Korea as well. And why is very important? Because they have introduced the punishment. The punishment is about, if we reach unacceptable risk, our AI system, they're talking about 30% of our return of investment. So most of the time when we do the business, whether small company, whatever, or education or university as well, we're talking about 15 to 20% profit if we become a consultant, for example. But for this one, the punishment is talking about 30%. So we can close off our project, or maybe our company can be, we have to close the company because of the punishment. So that is very important. Yeah. So this is all the country. Canada have introduced their act. Japan also is looking into the guidelines. EU now they have introduced AI. Singapore, they have all the governance. So everybody is moving towards to ensure their AI is safe, and also is there is no harm to the people. So beside the AI, we're talking about the standard. The standard also is very important. So because we want to make sure that we can harmonize all the standard. So for Malaysia, we become a members to the ISO 9000. So at the ISO 9000 standard, now we have 33 standard that we have published. Yeah, Indonesia also part of it. And also certain country, they're only the participant, they're only the observer, but for Malaysia, we are the participant. So for you, or for the librarian, you can purchase and let all the people, all the stakeholders know what are the standard available. They have a guideline for the risk management to use AI, they have the AI management system, they have the concept of terminology of AI, what we mean by AI, they have the framework, what we want to ensure the safety for the AI system. So I believe we're talking about a governance. So this standard is very crucial to implement the effective AI. Yeah? So we have the standard. And for ASEAN, so that one is very important. For ASEAN, we hope that we can come out with the ASEAN Digital Economy Framework Agreement, the DIFA agreement, so that we can work closely together, we can have common standard, and we can reduce compliance of the cost when we're using the AI. So we can ensure encourage the trust, interoperability of the innovation. So we hope that all the country members, we can have this agreement to be concluded by end of this year, so that to push our AI. And Malaysia also has been announced last month by the Secretary General of ASEAN. Malaysia going to lead the ASEAN AI safety, responsible AI, and also AI governance. So we want to make sure, we hope that we can get the trillion, 950 billion or 1 trillion by 2030. So what are the outcome? We hope that we can have ASEAN governance toolkit, so we can set a safety benchmark, and we also can have the capacity and policy making at the ASEAN levels. So why benefit is very important, harmonization of AI governance and ethics. We hope ASEAN, we can facilitate the harmonization of governance. We have to bridge the fragmented regulation, so that we can understand each country regulation, and we can strengthen our partnership and also is benefits to institution. Yeah, we support the evidence base because when it comes to the act, they need the transparency principle. So what we mean by transparency, that what our source can be traced and we can explain and we can have evidence to say that our AI system is very safe, yeah, and also the economic growth. Just now I mentioned we want to move the industry. From the industry, we can get the revenue generation, and also to mitigate all the risks. We're talking about the risk of the unfairness, and then we're talking about the safety, control, inclusivity. We're talking about the human-centric as well. So whenever we develop the AI system, we have to know who's accountable for that. Because AI system is only a tool. We are the human. We are the one who given the AI. We train the AI to play our roles as well, partly to help us. AI is our assistant. So because of that, we have to look into the security of AI system. And also not least, we look at the social as well. Yeah. So last not least, we hope all the governments, including ASEAN, government, state level also, we are moving towards, we need to implement our UNESCO recommendation, and also the ASEAN guidelines. We need to implement that. We come out with the use cases, and also we hope the ASEAN DIFA, digital agreement, economic agreement, so that we can have a AI standard. And we need to look at multilateral organization, because why? Because at the ASEAN level, we have many, when talking about the policy implementation, it's not all in the same level, you know. Some of them are still maturity. Certain countries, they just introduced the AI strategy. Now sometimes they just develop now. No, I understand that Laos, they just develop their AI policy, their roadmap. Like Singapore, they have implemented it for the last 10 years. They are looking on the advancement. Like Malaysia, we have our policy for the last in 2021, and we have implemented for the last 4 years. So every country, they have different maturity. So in our ASEAN, the one that we are involved, ASEAN AI responsible AI roadmap, I think Liberian should have it. We have come out with more than 40 action plan for the ASEAN country. We look at a multilateral organization as well, based on the maturity of the country. So we need the industry also have committed to embedded the AI ethics. So whenever all the industry or research institution, when they develop AI, they have to embed the AI principle, the one we mentioned about ASEAN. We have 7 principles. And academia also, we need the capacity building for our next generation of the leaders, because our leaders is coming from the education, we say. We need to also have the evidence. So my last words for this session, AI governance and ethics, are not about slowing the innovation. If we understand all those principles behind it, why it's very important, and we come out with a proper measurement, proper definition, and then we come out with the standard, harmonize that one, then we can talk about ensuring innovation to serve our humanity, that our people, our planet will be safe as well. So with that, I end my sharing knowledge and hand over to the MC of the day. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ibu Dr. Aini. Give applause to Ibu Dr. Aini. Okay, thank you, Ibu, to share with us from the perspective of AI governance expert of UNESCO. Yes, we talk about, not that long, but we talk about the AI governance, AI ethics, and then a little bit of open science. Ibu Aini, I am informed that you will just have another agenda, but can you have like one questions from us? Is it
okay,
still
maybe I
possible?
can get 1 or 2.
Okay.
That's the reason for sharing, knowledge sharing.
Okay, well,
But
that's good.
the rest, I hope they can have my slide as well. Yeah.
Okay, they can have your slides. Okay, now we already have one questions for Ibu Aini. So ethics and trust are central to AI governance. So what practical measure, so this is talking about the practical measure about the AI governance that can libraries be, because currently we are all academic librarians. Okay, yes, please.
Okay, when it comes about the measure, okay, so that's why as a librarian, I believe that the 7 principles can apply to the librarian as well. Yeah, as a librarian, of course, we have to know that talking about the fairness. When the librarian share the information, open accessibility. So the librarian have to know what level of information they want to share, whether this information is for the research or for the university, for the researchers or for the public. And we have to share all this information. When it comes to the open science, that is the main role for the librarian as well. And talking about, because when they do that, and the librarian also will take into the inclusivity. So whenever librarians do their job, they have to ensure that whatever data they share must be inclusive. You know, we have to cover the stakeholders. So not only at that one institution, we also have to make sure that whatever information that we have also can cascade down into our people. And sometimes to the parent as well. The librarian also have to make sure the parent have all this information so that the parent can have good relationship with the children. So also there's some major roles. And when it comes to the measurement, that's where now under UNESCO as well, together with Indonesia, Malaysia, and also Philippines, now we come and what the impact assessment. Yeah, because just now we have come out with the readiness of AI. We know where are we at the moment. So the next level, we're going to measure to what level that the fairness, that the inclusivity, the safety, the privacy, that we have adopted. So we come out with the impact assessment. So from this impact assessment exercise, then we can look at what are the right way for us to implement and adopt AI. Okay, so that's my, it's still in the stage of, when it comes to the measurement, we still have in the stage of pilot. We use the UNESCO tools, but we implement it for all the ASEAN countries.
Okay,
so
well,
we
that's
can.
good. That's quite clear. Perhaps one last question, the quick one. We have here Mas Patrick. Yes, okay. So the balance between regulation and innovation.
Yeah.
So this is one question. So how do you perceive the balance between regulation and innovation in ensuring that ethical framework don't hinder our digital transformation?
Okay,
and AI
so
competitiveness?
thank you for the question. I think that's considered the universal question. Everybody asking that. Okay, but I can use Malaysia as a case study because we have started with the direction. Every country must start with. So for Malaysia, we start for that one. If you look at our roadmap, also I have shared with you all. If you go to the Google, you can see Malaysia. First thing we put is balancing, because we want to get the revenue, 115 million for Malaysia. For Indonesia, just now we're talking about 366 billion. So that one is not only coming from the education, from the training, from the adoption. It's not enough for us. For a country, we have to also involve on the innovation. From that innovation, we can get revenue for our country. From that revenue, then our industry we can increase our industry. So industry also can be advanced, So it's very important. Innovation is very important. So by doing that, that's where first of all we engage. When we develop the AI roadmap, when we develop the action plan for yearly or for 2 years, we always involve the industry. Because industry is the key player. Yeah, because we're talking about policy making, industry is part of the implementer. So industry must be there. They have to know what are the technology they need so that government can invest, can help them. And they also have to know what are the standards needed. If we have all the standard, then government also can help. We also can help, because when it comes to the AI Act that the company, industry need to impose, they have to make sure that their AI innovation, the AI system is safe. So what I can say is this is considered top-down and bottom-up initiative. Top-down is from the government side and also from the ASEAN level, and down is from the industry and also from the end user. So from that, we can balance our innovation and we can also look at adoption of AI. So for ASEAN, we hope we have to balance these two. It's very important for us. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Ibu Dr. Aini, for sharing with us today. We are so glad to see you, and we hope that next time we can just invite you in person to Indonesia. Okay, thank you so much. So you have enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Oke, baik. Bapak Ibu, thank you so much for showing us the positive energy and sweet smile until now. So we already have three speakers today. We have three perspectives from a company or industry, from academic, and also from organization and UNESCO. So we thank Ibu Widya and Prof. Ku and Ibu Dr. Aini for sharing with us today. Okay, so I guess that's all for the first session, and we will just move to the next session, and I will just like overhandle the session to Ibu Novi. Thank you so much. Terima
Thank
kasih.
you, Safira. Kita beri tepuk tangan yang luar biasa untuk our charming moderator Mbak Safira. Yeah, now we will go to the next session, token appreciation for our moderator first. The token appreciation? Oh no, backstage saja ya. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, after this we will have sponsorship token appreciation, lunch, and then pre-break. However, right after the break session, we will still here with you to the next agenda, the second session of International Sneak Art. We'll talk about knowledge management in AI era and capacity building and digital competence. Yeah, so you have to back here at 12:30. Bapak Ibu, karena acaranya adalah token appreciation dari sponsor, kalau ngomong bahasa Inggris kayaknya jadi kurang asik gitu ya. Soalnya saya mikirnya harus panjang gitu. Nah, ada Bapak Ibu kemarin sudah dapat di dalam tasnya ada logo-logo sponsor. Kemudian Bapak Ibu harus memutar ke sponsor-sponsor. Sudah dilakukan? Sudah. Komplit? Komplit. Artinya Bapak Ibu dengan begitu ketika kita mendatangkan sponsor, Bapak Ibu ini sebenarnya wajib hadir begitu ya. Untuk bertanya karena para sponsor ini sangat mendukung keberlangsungan acara KPPTI begitu ya. Luar biasa sekali. Terima kasih. Kita beri tepuk tangan yang meriah untuk para sponsor kita. Ya, jadi ada Elsevier, McGraw-Hill, Bloomsbury, Springer, Turnitin, iGroup, Sage, Emerald Publishing, EBSCO, kemudian Prospera Buana, Biblioteca by Sagung Seto, dan juga Livro RFID Library. Jadi Bapak Ibu, kita ada door prize dari sponsor. Silakan. Jadi Bapak Ibu yang sudah diisi dengan komplit itu sudah dikumpulkan. Bapak Ibu besok bisa adopsi cara ini ketika Bapak Ibu mengundang sponsor ya. Jadi ini salah satu yang kita adopsi dari acara konsal. Jadi yang sudah Bapak Ibu isikan penuh, hanya yang komplit saja yang sudah kita masukkan ke dalam kotak akuarium ini. Ya, kami mohon Mbak Orisa untuk dapat memilih 12 ternyata ya. Dan isinya campur-campur ya Bapak Ibu, ada yang dari sana, dari sana dan lain sebagainya. Kita ambil 12 sponsor, 12 pemenang, maaf ya. Sudah jam makan siang soalnya Mbak Orisa. Boleh dibuka Mbak Orisa? Langsung dibuka.
Adi Nur Cahyani dari Universitas Tarumanagara.
Ada?
Ada?
Ya kita kumpulkan, nanti misalnya belum ada boleh tidak maju gitu ya.
Ini mau
Meskipun tuan
di-skip
rumah
atau
boleh.
tetap di
Boleh,
ini?
boleh, tetap boleh.
3. Oke.
Ya. Jadi yang belum bisa mengambil sekarang mungkin sedang tugas di belakang boleh tetap berlaku ya Mbak ya. Boleh.
Eva Susilawati, UIN Sukariau. Ada?
Oke, silakan
Oke.
maju Mbak.
Indriawan Unisba. Ada?
Ada? Yo,
Ya,
oke.
silakan maju ke depan.
Kita coba cek lagi. Jadi ini kita adopsi dari acara konsol ya Bapak Ibu. Sekali lagi kalau Bapak Ibu bikin acara dengan cara seperti ini akan menjadi sesuatu yang luar biasa untuk para sponsor yang sudah mensukseskan acara kita.
Desni, siapa ini? Sihite.
Ya, Desni Sihite.
Desni Sihite dari Binus University.
4 ya. Ini sudah 4 sebenarnya. Jadi
Satu lagi berarti ya? Ya udah ya.
4 dulu ya Bapak Ibu ya.
Oke, Mas Disi minta tolong.
4 dulu tapi yang satu sedang bertugas di belakang di sana sehingga yang taruman negara tetap kita kasihkan tapi akan menunggu setelah ini. Baik, kita lanjutkan ke berikutnya. Boleh tetap ketua panitia ya. Habiskan Mbak Orisa, ada 12.
Nur Syafiah, ITBAD Jakarta. Ini Mbak Afi nih kayaknya nih.
Nah, ini bendahara acara Bapak Ibu, luar biasa ya. Juga yang
Silakan aja.
ini ya.
Ya.
Juga yang mensukseskan acara kita selain sponsor. Bendahara paling penting soalnya ya, boleh.
Menteri Keuangan.
Menteri Keuangan, silahkan Mbak Afi.
Arif Budianto, Universitas Mercu Buana. Pak Arif.
Wah,
Silakan, Pak.
silakan Mas Arif.
Pradipta, Telkom University. Pradipta dari Telkom University.
Ada ya? Ada.
Ada?
Oke.
Oke.
Satu lagi. Jadi ada Nur Safiah dari ITBAD Jakarta, kemudian Arif Budianto Universitas Mercu Buana, Pradipta dari Telkom U. Satu lagi.
Tri Sunarti, Politeknik Negeri Media Kreatif.
Ya, selamat.
Tri Sunarti, silakan.
Mari silakan, ada 4 orang. Jadi tasnya ini misalnya dari iGroup isinya macam-macam ya Bapak Ibu ya. Ya. Jadi semua dari sponsor. Nah, terima kasih. Sesi terakhir 4 door prize lagi. Oh belum ya, satu kali lagi. Sik, sik, sik. Sudah, terima kasih. 3 lagi Mbak, 3 dulu lagi. Ini sama.
Rita Indriani dari Unsika.
Silakan. 2 lagi.
Ernest Sukmana, ITB. Ena, ada Pak Ena? Ya, luar biasa Pak Ena.
Biasa. Ikut berbahagia ya, kita semua melihatnya ya. Rasanya pengen yang terakhir ini namanya kita, ya nggak?
M. Tawaf, Uin Suska Riau. Pak Tawaf ya?
Ada Pak Tawaf? Oh ada, boleh. Baik, terima kasih. Mbak Orisa, ternyata masih ada satu lagi dan ini spesial dari Elsevier. Sambil bismillah ya Bapak Ibu.
Spesial ya Mbak?
Iya, spesial dari
Mudah-mudahan nama saya yang keluar ya.
Moga-moga nama saya itu Mbak. Yang terakhir yang spesial adalah dari Elsevier Bapak Ibu.
Luar biasa ini, namanya familiar. Yoka Adam dari ITB. Pak Yoka.
Kalau ini gugur ya?
Ya,
Oh ada
silakan,
ternyata.
Pak. Anda yang beruntung Pak.
Ya ini yang terakhir ya Bapak Ibu. Ada spesial dari Elsevier. Yang paling kiri adalah seksi sponsor Bapak Ibu. Ya, terima kasih sekali lagi Bapak Ibu, acara ini disukseskan atas kerjasama FPPTI Pusat, FPPTI DKI, kemudian Universitas Tarumanegara dan Elsevier, McGraw Hill, Bloomsbury, Springer, Turnitin, iGroup, Sage, Emerald Publishing, EBSCO, dan Prospera Buana, Bibliotika, serta Livro RFID Library. Bapak Ibu, demikian tadi sesi pertama, seminar internasional sudah kita lakukan. Pembagian door prize juga sudah kita lakukan, tapi kita akan punya satu seminar internasional lagi setelah break ya. Jadi kita nanti akan kembali ke ruangan ini jam 12:30 ya Bapak Ibu. Jam 12:30 dan saat ini Bapak Ibu bisa langsung beristirahat. Makan siang sudah siap di lantai 7, musola ada di lantai 6 ya. Silakan nikmati nikmati break dan istirahat Bapak Ibu semuanya. Kita bertemu lagi di jam 12:30.